Welcome to the Snap UK podcast, Week 8 NFL review. It's Wednesday and we have a full house. Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
All right.
And we've got a newcomer apparently, who isn't going to read out the scores because he can't be trusted to keep the accent up and not sound slightly racist. It's a fair comment? Fair comment. Right. Somebody is going to have to pick a starting point now that you guys have decided we're not going through the scores anymore while you have time to think about it. So I'm hoping you've all read the script in advance. Gary hasn't.
In advance, you turned up 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's plenty of time. There's only 14 lines. So who wants to...
How much chocolate is on this table?
Not as much as there was 20 minutes ago. So who wants to pick me a game first to start with? Gary.
Always with my hand up.
Always with your hand up.
It's got to
Lucky
be
Kirsty.
Pat's Jets, isn't it?
All right, it was the funniest result of Week 8, wasn't it? Patriots, Jets. It's not going to take us a lot of time to cover the offensive output in this game, but suffice to say, the Jets have fucked it, and it was bloody hilarious.
I mean, define the word offensive.
Oh, well, the whole game was offensive.
Well, the funny thing is, like, you watched the Pats the previous 2 weeks, and we've all gone, they're not great, but the best thing about them is Drake May. Drake May didn't last the first quarter. Basically, he was gone, and they still lost to Jacoby Brissett's Pats. It is the funniest thing. The thing is, I don't want to talk about them next week because basically, I think they're just dead.
The Jets.
The Jets are just gonna,
I know, it's funny.
They're such a joke. Stevenson, who was a non-event for the last couple of weeks, just ran all over him.
They've made the change, and it's obviously worked because the defense has got worse, and there's no change to the offense.
So they've taken the head coach has gone, and the DC has taken over.
And it's made the defense worse.
It's made the defense worse, and the offense no better.
The only good part being their defense.
And this is a problem. Now, I don't have the stats in front of me, but they were the first team in 267 attempts to throw for more than 250 yards, not turn the ball over. Yeah, 270. Yeah. And to keep the opposition at less than 250 yards and still lose the game. Right? Like, this was historically poor and still incredibly funny. It gets funnier. It's the only redeeming thing of the Patriots season. Patriots didn't do anything to deserve to win this, beyond the fact that Brissett probably played his best game of the season. Yeah. Which is not hard.
I just wasn't expecting to see so many Zach Wilson memes. Like, of him being better than Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
constantly through, like, we're halfway through the season and all I keep seeing is Zach Wilson memes.
Yeah, so basically it's quite clear that over the last 2 years of Zach Wilson and then this year of Aaron Rodgers, they've each had 7 interceptions at this point in the season, and the offense has looked more or less the same. Nothing has changed under Rodgers. The magic has gone. It's done.
Yeah. Did you see... So, is anyone aware of Davon God's show?
Yes.
He is... So, it's got to the point with Rodgers now where there's pity. So, his quote was, I hate to see him go out this way. He definitely don't look the same. He kept moving back there. Shit. I could run him down and catch him. He doesn't look mobile at all. Godshow is 330 pounds and a defensive tackle. In the combine in 2016, he ran a 5.5 second 40.
8 years ago.
8 years ago. He's got slower since then. He's catching Aaron Rodgers, who is 41 next month.
Yeah, that is no great shock. He's 41 next month, coming off an Achilles injury, which is a difficult injury to come off of when you're 21.
Yeah.
Why do we expect him? He always had mobility. It was a good pocket passer, but he always did have some mobility. Now that's completely gone. It's showing up the weakness in his game. He's not the same as Tom Brady.
He
Doesn't get the ball out quick enough.
No.
That's he never has. He likes to...
He's so concerned with his own stats.
Exactly.
It's the same. He's not. He's just getting older. But the last version of him at Green Bay wasn't very good. He makes slant passes, or he throws out of bounds.
It's him having to have it his way. Like, Garrett Wilson, stat-wise, actually had a very decent game. But from watching what I saw, almost reluctantly, you never felt like he wanted to pass to Garrett Wilson.
No, he doesn't rate him as a star receiver. He wants to throw to Devontae Adams, who's made precisely zero difference to this team. Zero.
If anything, it's got worse.
Well, yeah, the firing Robert Saleh, we all agree Saleh needed to go, but firing in the middle of the season it will not make this team better.
And to your point earlier, it's firing him in the middle of the season and elevating the defensive coordinator when the defense is was the best thing about this team. Like it was a top half defense in the NFL. Now it's just gone to shit.
Yeah, it is poor. Thank you for bringing it up very early and getting it out of the way.
It's just like
It is great.
I chuckled my way through the end of red zone.
2-8.
2-5.
2-6.
Six, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. When there's a bye week even coming to save the Jets, it must be soon. They must have a bye week.
It's not going to save them.
But yeah, it gives them a week from not losing, though, doesn't it? So it saves them briefly.
To find out the witch that put a curse on that team in a bye week, or just whatever the hell has happened.
Under Woody Johnson and the Johnson regime, this team will never be successful. They do not know how to make a team successful.
They've still got another 3 games into their bye week.
Wow.
So they got their Texans at home, at Cardinals, and home to the Colts.
Conceivably, they only win one of those games.
They're paying a 32-year-old Devontae Adams $37 million next year.
Well, that makes about right
That'd
sense
get
for this team.
Structured, wouldn't it?
It wouldn't make it fucking better.
Well, no, they've got realistically though, they've got to just clean house, haven't they?
Yeah, Rodgers will go at the end of the
Rodgers
year.
go
It
at the end
has
of the
to.
season. Get rid of Devontae Adams. There's a week now until the trade deadline. If there are
Just trade him again.
yeah,
Fuck him.
not being funny, you might as well. But if
Mike
there are-
Williams might go, but
Mike
yeah.
Williams is likely to go because he's now out of the picture.
Garrett Wilson
anyway.
probably wants to go.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson probably wants to go.
Brees
Might-
Hall.
Brees
might
Hall.
walk.
You might as well clean house. A sensible organisation would be cleaning house now.
There's no way.
we'll
There's no
get-
way. You can
we'll
sign
get to this
Rodgers
team-
up to that project, though, is there?
No.
Yeah,
Like
that's what
Rodgers,
I'm saying.
like
It's
they
too
just-
late.
They can't do that.
Get rid of all the other assets though. Start again. Because you're going to have a new coach. You're going to probably have a new GM because he's probably on his way out as well. You might as well get whoever comes in as much draft capital as possible and start again.
It's time for Woody Johnson to get hard.
Yes.
It's
I
just
missed him last week. No.
Yeah.
I tell you, I know
Yeah,
we'll
we had
get.
horsing around.
We did. We'll get to them later. But if I was the Cowboys, I'd be banging down the door for Brees Hall.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what the Jets need to do. They need to shut shop on
And there's
this.
a-
It's been a terrible mistake,
There's a few teams I think should
and just move on, much as we need to do.
Well, I was sat there sort of Sunday going, the funny thing is, they've been better off going for like Russell Wilson.
Well, yeah. Well,
And that's how bad it is.
we can have that conversation right now. Right? Who would you have if you were building a team today for the next 2 or 3 years? You'd take Russell Wilson. You wouldn't take Aaron
Looking
Rodgers.
forward to this Russell Wilson conversation.
No, but it's true though,
2
right?
weeks in a row, like he's done okay.
He's doing
Okay,
fine.
he's doing more than okay. Do you want to nail the Steelers game while we're talking about this?
Yeah, can we?
Let's do that
I
because
stayed up for this.
this was a mistake, wasn't it? Monday Night Football, Giants 18, Steelers 26, and basically Russell Wilson looks good, and that is all he needs to be. Good. He doesn't have to be brilliant, just good.
The Steelers look good.
Their
Like,
record is ridiculous.
6
isn't
and
it?
2.
they don't look like they can like break doors down and completely, but they'll keep the teams under 20, and they're getting like 5-10 yards of rush.
Yeah.
Like Najee Harris is having a great fucking season.
He's having a great season apart from his press conferences, which are costing him a lot
I've
of
backed
money.
him all the way.
That was amazing.
All the way.
I think to be fair, anytime Gary publicly denounces a running back, I know they're going to do well.
Do you know what? The week I went, he's in my auction league team, is it? And he'd been annoying me, and I missed the stretch arm touchdown he got a few weeks ago, and that week I just was losing my temper with him. So I probably said a few things in haste, which I now regret, and he's done a fine job for me ever since. So sorry,
Najee Harris.
sorry, yeah, sorry.
But yeah, now the Steelers are good, but
The thing is, they only beat the Giants, which
Yeah.
is not. So that's the opposite.
Well,
record
I was going
to
to
the
ask
6.
today whether their record is true or flattering, because
To
it's
fair-
a hell of a record, isn't it, at this stage of the season? And you look at the teams they're ahead of. Like if we did our power rankings, which we probably should do next week.
Next week
Yes,
it is, yeah.
oh, he's
fair-
going to be
it's a
fucking
fair
drunk
point.
again when he
They've
sends
won-
them in.
They've won games that you'd expect them to win against Falcons, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Jets, Giants.
Yeah, they haven't knocked off anybody big, but you can only play the schedule.
Yep.
So if they
that's
get
it.
a couple of tough games and they're suddenly 6 and 4, we'll still be saying, "Oh, the Steelers are 6 and
But-
4."
Every time they've lost by 3.
But where does 6-2 put them? Like the Ravens are 6-2. Aren't the Steelers top of the division?
Yeah,
The
above the
Steelers are top.
That's what I'm saying. They're top of the division. So,
Yeah.
like, when I saw that, I was like, fuck.
The Ravens lost 3.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
5-3. We're getting
Yeah,
to that.
and our defensive line has done much worse against sort of better teams. They were pretty good. No, I'm not really one to.
Don't forget, Tomlin's on a 17-year stretch of non-losing seasons, which is incredible by anybody's standard in a league that's designed to have parity.
Stop pressed. Mike Tomlin's a good coach.
But is he underrated?
He still is, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
He's still
I love him. And he's funny as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rooney family are underrated, in my
Yes.
The whole franchise.
The whole
yeah,
it's just beautifully won.
But how do you, what is it that makes him underrated? Because there's the one glaring thing that I would like to think it's not, but he never gets brought up in the conversation of great coaches.
Well,
and
it's
he's
because-
a great coach.
Because he hasn't won multiple Super Bowls.
I think it's that, and because yes, he's had winning seasons, but he's not had like 12-3 winning, 12 and
I don't know.
4
They had a
seasons.
couple under Big
Yeah,
Ben,
they
didn't
did
they?
under Big Ben, but since
When they had-
since Big Ben's gone,
I think
it's
offense.
been 8-8, 9-8, those types of seasons.
You know, like Mike McDaniels gets loads of hype, doesn't he? Because they score the odd 60 points. The Steelers don't do that. They're built around defense. They're a bit like the Ravens, aren't they? They're, you know, people don't go on and on about John Harbour, but actually his stats are amazing as well.
Yeah.
And that's similar because they play grind it out solid football year after year. When do you sit down and go, I can't wait to watch that Steelers game? It's going to fucking rock my
Two
world.
coaches in the history of the NFL have longer non-losing streaks, so non-streaks under 500.
Madden.
Chuck Noll,
No, neither of those.
Bill Walsh.
Tom Landry.
Tom Landry has the record with 21 consecutive seasons without a losing.
You
game.
come to
Parcells?
Belichick. Says,
Belichick is at 19.
had to stick a fucking Belichick stat in, didn't
Hey,
I
look,
thought it was going to be Shula.
Turn up
So
with
did
your
I.
fucking
That's what I was looking for.
cut off hoodie, you know.
not me. I haven't got a cut-off hoodie on.
He's got a very nice hoodie on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks very much.
I like it.
I like it as well.
I've had to go through my wardrobe and change everything to large, but never mind.
When you get to extra large, that's when the fun begins.
It's just easier than exercise, isn't it?
Just put a sheet on.
I'm not moo stage yet.
Anything either of the Giants fans want to add this week before we move on?
Hang on, can we?
If we were a better team, Dexter Lawrence would be a standout candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, but we're not a better team, so he won't win it.
Can a non-Giants fan chip in there?
Yeah,
Tyron Tracy Jr.
yeah.
He's fun.
He's come
Yes.
out of nowhere, hasn't he?
What, fifth round pick.
If you go back to one of our earlier week 1, week 2, I predicted he was going to have a good season. If you're listening,
Yeah, I won't, but I'm sure I did at the time, and we probably all nodded and went, "Yeah, you're that guy."
He's on schedule to have 800 yards in the regular season rushing.
He didn't really
He
turn
didn't-
up until
I was
week
gonna say
4.
he
Yeah,
didn't start until week 4.
What's the story with the concussion he seemed to suffer, though?
They don't matter anymore, do they?
Well, apparently you don't have to miss a lot of time. Yeah, but
yeah, might miss a week, but
when are we seeing Drew Lock? That's all I'm interested in now. Lock watch.
no.
sooner than we think. I like
Daniel Jones isn't the only problem.
Paul's doing the DeVito.
It won't be DeVito.
It's going to be Drew Lock before.
It will be Drew Lock before DeVito.
But you might see both.
I want Jake Fromm to come back.
Jake from a racism scandal.
Jake from racism. No one wants Jake from racism.
Now, was he the one that did the quarterback sneak on the 6-yard line?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
for
that's
fuck's sake.
You
Yeah.
tried twice in a row.
That wasn't on him. That was on the
Jo-
coach.
Joe
Yeah.
Judge.
Yeah.
Joe Judge twice
Calling
in a
that-
row.
Calling that play. Yeah.
3rd and 9 from your own goal line.
Yeah.
The biggest balls of the week that week, it might have been him.
No, that
At
was
at least quarterback sneak, Jalen Hurts was back this week. I did appreciate that.
Well, yeah.
yeah, no, Jones, he was all right this week, but he wasn't good.
Game-ending interception again.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And did you see how wide open your receivers were as well when he did it? There's just like pictures of like 3 Giants wide receivers in like acres of space.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also,
And he had loads of time. And then they just...
Malik Neighbours is a machine at getting open.
aim drops, I was going to add. He's had a few drops, a few big drops over the last few weeks, and he had one on Monday night as well.
Some big plays by Slayton, but it doesn't matter. We'll get down.
It's painful and miserable in this corner, Farrows.
Yeah.
but it'll be okay.
Sorry,
one
Yeah.
day.
One more thing. I don't want to label this.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, the 2-point conversion attempt.
Oh, the 2-point conversion attempt. Now, was it not the Colts back in like 2016 that tried a similar sort of thing where they only lined one person up with the center and then didn't snap the ball to him?
It's very Cowboys in the playoffs, deciding, which, I know we're going to lose, but let's lose farcically. It was bad. But it seemed like no one knew what it was doing.
That was a play that was drawn up way late at night and not explained to anyone properly.
Dable out. Dable out.
I like it because it's like, this scoreline isn't embarrassing. Go and fuck up somehow.
Daniel Jones doesn't win at home or in prime time.
Or ever.
And this was in prime time, so it doesn't. Yeah.
John,
Next week we're in Germany, aren't we?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perhaps you should stay there.
We're punishing the Germans.
So Germany aside,
We're machine gun Kelly at half
take me
time.
to a place of hope, John. Pick me a game that was better than that one.
Oh, can we stay in the divisions a bit
Yeah.
and talk about at least the final 5 minutes of the Commanders and the Bears?
The final 12 seconds.
But the final 12 seconds.
Hail Maryland.
Hail Maryland, but also
I woke up my
The
wife and daughter
shithousery of the
screaming.
cornerback.
the Bears did. I hate the word deserve because you get what you deserve. If you don't play for the whole 90 minutes of a game or whatever, you lose. You know, the Bears were. The Bears' defense was brilliant for 96% of this game.
I'd go as fast as more than
Basically,
that. 99% really.
because they gave up a play they probably shouldn't have given up to get Daniels into position.
Some fucking position, though. It was still a long way.
12.79 seconds.
By the
Dan
time he
Daniels held
threw
onto
that
the ball
ball.
for.
Yeah,
That's the longest that anyone's held
Yep.
on the ball for.
And
in a Hail Mary
he
situation.
must have been 65 yards. That ball must have gone
52-yard Hail
Right,
Mary.
right,
yeah. I mean, this is, as well. Let's not beat around the bush. It was falling short.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh,
close
yeah,
to the
yeah.
end zone.
Where the bloke who was too busy,
I didn't catch the guy's name. But
Stevenson,
Stevenson.
who
he
was
spent the first
mocking
6
the
seconds of
crowd?
the play mocking the crowd, realised that the ball was coming in. Everyone, all the Bears players congregated under the ball, where Stevenson, who was supposed to be watching
Noah Brown.
Brown, tipped the ball to Noah Brown in the end zone.
It was the easiest catch of a Hail Mary I've ever seen.
It was fucking brilliant. The Commanders are, I think they're great, and it pains me.
Well, see, it doesn't pain me. I like to see it, right? There's a franchise
Yeah,
that...
but they're in my division.
Yeah,
That's
of
why
course.
it pains me.
It's a franchise with fans that deserve to see some good football and have some good players. I don't like where the franchise has been, but a new ownership, why not? But you know what? Same for the Bears. Like, the Bears fans have had years of just crap.
Mediocrity.
They were in the playoffs.
Sure.
They were going to beat the team that won the Super Bowl. Like,
Sure,
off a kick.
but, you know, when your highlights have been Mr. Biscuit
And the double doink.
and the double doink,
they have had some mediocrity.
yeah.
But in the last 20 years, they've been to a Super Bowl and they've been in the playoffs multiple times.
Who was the quarterback that took him to the Super Bowl?
Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
Rex Grossman. That tells you all you need to know. Now, all I'm saying is it's fun to see that these two rookie quarterbacks, bearing in mind we've got others in the league like, you know, Bryce Young, etc., that are not panning out. It's good to see that these two have come in and, do you know what? They can be competitive straight away and they've made their teams better
Yeah.
and given their fan bases hope.
But this is the problem is, for any other quarterback coming in, teams will expect the Jaden Daniels effect now.
Sure.
Well, if you pick them in the top few, you should. It's just it shouldn't be quite so many that go so early. There's just
That's the
people
problem.
get desperate. It's
Pick the right
like
quarterback.
Anthony Richardson
Yeah.
should never have gone where he went.
Absolutely.
You know, so and that's the problem, isn't it? It's like he shouldn't have gone. Fucking Trey Lance shouldn't have gone. Justin Fields, I think maybe should, but you know,
I think
it's difficult when you go to a team like that. But I think you know teams are gonna take a punt because it's the most important position on the roster, isn't it? So
Don't forget, the
you get a
Commanders
free hit.
The Commanders had signed Carson Wentz in 2022 to lead this team. He lasted one season. They were terrible. And look where they've gotten themselves to. I'm hoping for the similar effect with Drake May.
I mean, also, there's a lot of just really great recruitment from the GM. When you look at like Austin Eckler,
Yeah. Well, Noah Brown's
Zach
been a really
Ertz.
good. Yeah. Hey, Zach Ertz, no longer elite by any stretch, but a really valuable contributor to this team.
Basically, apart from Scary Terry, some of the line, it's basically a new team from last year. They were so busy in the off-season. It isn't great, the team, but Dan Quinn is getting the best out of some of the parts, and that is all that a coach can.
Question about
Be
Dan
asked for.
Quinn. Should he be allowed to continue to wear his hat backwards?
Yes.
Don't really care.
Yeah, it just doesn't look right. It looks
What
like
they do in America.
Yeah, but
team is 6-2.
he looks like he's about to pick his kids up from a disco and he's trying to fit in.
So, who is the better team then? Commanders or the Steelers?
Right now,
Both 6-2 teams.
I would take the Commanders over the Steelers. Just.
I would go the other way.
Yeah, I'll go.
I've heard that about you.
I reckon if they played. I reckon the Steelers.
I reckon the Steelers might win,
Yeah.
but it would probably be like 12-15. It's not.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Steelers would find a way to stop Daniels. I don't think.
Well, the Bears found a way to stop Daniels. That's the thing. For most of the game,
and Bears have got good defense as well.
Bears have got a really good defense, but the Steelers is better.
Well, you think he stopped him. He's still got 326 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, but when it matters, they only conceded one touchdown, which
It mattered at that point.
It
yeah.
really
It
matters.
really is a big dose of luck in that touchdown.
Yeah, but it's sort of sometimes you
Yeah,
you make your own luck.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, the Williams was actually really bad
very bad actually. Yeah.
for a while, and then in the fourth quarter turned up and looked.
His progress
He's
is
streaky.
slower. Yeah, he that's the word. Yeah, he is streaky. His progress is definitely slower, but he still looks like a good acquisition. That's all you want them to be at this point.
Yeah.
Who wants to pick me the next game? Don't all jive in at once.
I will jump in with the Lions versus the Titans, which for me
No,
was,
game, Paul. Not an absolute roasting. I'm looking for a competitive, fun game
if you
between two professional
if
teams.
you want fun, my God, this was fun. That was, again, the Lions are just like playing Madden on easy this season.
Jared Goff, MVP.
I was quite
He's
pleased
not.
with my headline of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Fuck.
Yeah, yeah. How many completions does Goff have this week? It's like,
Completions this week, 12.
yeah,
12 completions for less than 100 yards.
Yeah.
85 yards.
85 yards.
The offensive,
I love it.
The
They
offensive
didn't have to,
stats-
did they?
no,
No,
they just
they-
ran him.
The defense and the
Not
running
even that.
game.
The offensive stat line in total is pretty dire.
Just defense.
Yeah, terrible.
Defense.
No, it was the special teams.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
had like a punt return for a touchdown, and then two other kind of punt or kick returns that just gave them great field position, and two interceptions which put them straight into red zone as well. So yes, defense and special teams won this game for the Lions.
Yeah.
The offense just put the icing on the cake and put up 52 points.
And if you had a team who are quite happy to just run the ball at you all day, it's probably the Lions.
yeah.
But it was competitive for a while. It was 14 all.
I mean, 85 yards, still 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Like the guy's efficiency. I just think
That's why you can't help where he's starting.
yeah,
exactly.
Jared Goff for
So,
MVP.
I think at
It's a
some
good
point
team game.
when it comes to MVP for judging, people will go. He's only like he had a 3-week stretch where admittedly he threw 15 touchdowns for 500 yards in those whole 3 weeks.
How many missed passes did he throw in that time?
Less. Yeah. So the previous best 5-game stretch for completion was Peyton Manning in 2008 with 80.2% completion. Goff just passed that with 83% completion in a 5-game stretch. Like that is the level he's playing at. No one's saying he's better than Peyton Manning, but the system.
I believe that's what you're saying. You're saying he's better than
I
Peyton.
heard that. I heard you said he's better than.
I mean, he's better than Peyton Manning now.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So, but
mean, it depends
we
on
are
what-
seeing rarity.
Yeah.
They're just playing out of their skin.
At the moment, they look like the most complete team in the NFL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
Like,
they
I
are
think
the-
like
I'd say they are the best team in the
You've
NFL at the
got
moment.
like the Chiefs, who are a great winning machine. Remind you of the Patriots, where they just win. Really annoying to watch and frustrating because they don't look that great, but they win. And then you've got the Ravens, who some weeks dazzle you and make you believe that they are something really special, and then the next week they lose to someone shit,
the Browns.
like the Browns.
Well, they've lost-
so it's just
Ironically, yeah.
it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense with the Ravens. And then you look at the Lions and you go, they might lose to a big team in a close matchup, which will be a great game of football. But, like,
They've
the
lost
team you want
one.
to watch the most.
They've lost one game this year, and that was the Bucks, who stopped them.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. Like, so the Bucks only scored 20.
I'd go as far as saying, because of their history, and you could probably apply this to Commanders, if they carry on the same trajectory, I'd say the Lions is everyone's favourite second team.
Yeah, certainly.
I you know what, they're in the NFC.
And here's what
Guys,
sums
give me a
up.
look of. I
Here's
don't
what
believe
sums
you.
up that history, Jim. This is the first time the Lions have won 6 games in 7 weeks ever. Certainly in the Super Bowl era. And bearing in mind, in that time, they're the only team that have been in existence since the Super Bowl era began, 1966.
Something like that.
Not to have been to the Super Bowl. But, so they are on now a historically good path for them. Also, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 5 consecutive games with a touchdown. Who was the last Lion to achieve that, and in which year?
Megatron,
Yes.
2012.
Close, 2011. That is a long time to not have a streak of 5 receiving touchdowns by any
Extremely
player.
good guess.
It was a very good. For a man who doesn't live in the past, very well done to you.
I'm all right in the recent past.
So we move away from the Lions slightly to just how shit the Titans are, because it makes me feel better to talk about other shit teams.
Yeah.
Can I just go slightly back, just because my favourite stat of all football last year, before the Lions got into the playoffs, was in your lifetime you'd watched as many playoff games for the Lions as JFK had.
Yeah, I mean, it's
With
good.
the Titans, like, where is Ryan Tannehill when you need him?
Well,
Did they move on too quick? Because,
Yeah.
like,
clearly.
Tannehill was fine.
Where's
like,
Malik Willis when you need him?
But Tannehill was absolutely fine. Was he so bad that he needed to go?
Yeah. No.
I don't really get what their thinking was. Derrick Henry, did he really need to go? Like,
Well,
did they not
I'd
have
have-
a load? I know they didn't want to pay him
a lot,
and stuff,
yeah.
but they did have some pieces. Like under
They've moved
Vrabel,
on far too fast.
Under Vrabel, this was a really good team.
Yeah, they moved on from Henry
And they
and
moved on
Vrabel.
from Vrabel. and-
AJ Brown.
yeah,
Like,
they just gave it away.
yeah.
Who was the first round receiver they got?
Traylon Burks.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, not that. But
Didn't have a single target this week. I know, if it was
Like
playing.
AJ Brown to that.
I know.
Like,
might as well be you.
yeah.
Well, they had Traylon Burks and
I
the
am a
ghost
wide
of
receiver.
Julio Jones for a bit. Then they replaced that with
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
He's gone now as well.
Yeah, and so
There's nothing good about it. When you're playing Mason Rudolph as an upgrade over your other choice at quarterback, there's a problem.
yeah.
Yes.
And the whole, like, this guy, Callahan, he's in trouble because he has been a negative influence on this team. We know they've taken away the pieces, but what has he then come in and provided?
Oh, it's harsh to blame this on him, though. I blame
Yes,
this on the
I'm
GM.
not saying it's not harsh, but
Yeah,
I'm
the
saying
GM.
who's going to cop the fall for this? I think it's going to be him.
I'd go for the GM.
It's going to be both.
But I'd feel very sorry for him. It's like when Steve Wilkes got sacked by Arizona.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, very similar, actually. But I still think it's going to happen because they're going to have to clean house. This has been a terrible, terrible set of decisions that have been made all across the board by a team that was trending in one direction, had a slightly down season under a well thought of head coach, and thought, hang on, we'll bin him off. Vrabel will be back in a job next year. If he
The
wants
best
one.
thing that could happen to Vrabel is he's not managing the Titans this
Yeah,
year. He's
absolutely.
becoming more and more valuable each week because he's away from that dumpster fire.
It's terrible. Okay, Jim, you want to pick one?
Well, we mentioned it earlier. I am going to go to Cleveland, beating the Ravens 29-24.
Isn't it nice to have something to feel good about for the Cleveland Browns?
No, they deserve everything that comes to them.
No,
But
I'm talking about the fan base, though.
I think a couple of years ago, when they started to do a bit better under Baker, we gave them a little bit of that
Yeah, a little
joy.
bit. Yeah.
Well, now they can fuck off because they fucked it up, didn't they? So no, like they went and spent all that money on that fucking dirty sex predator, potentially, and it's like that's
Paul,
what
you've been getting money from the Browns.
well, that's what they chose to do, isn't it? Potentially,
I
that's
like- I like this result because the dirty sex offender potentially has gone. They've put in a proper quarterback and they're winning again. So it shows up how bad that decision was.
Jameis Winston come in through 300 yards, and like Deshaun Watson's never done that for the Browns.
No, he's never. I don't think he's ever thrown more than 220, is he? Like,
I don't think he's had a pass over 20 yards, like in the air.
Yeah.
Didn't Jameis have 3 passes that travelled like 50 yards?
Yeah.
Well, he just slings it,
He
doesn't he?
did, but he's entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
He's entertaining.
Although I think didn't Jameis have an Uber situation as well? Wasn't
Yes.
I mean, back
So
in
it's-
college,
yeah.
but like he's
was
matured.
definitely when he was
He's
a
now
Buck.
quoting Eminem, calling himself Jesus.
he
It's
was
all good.
definitely when he was
His
a
press
Buck.
conferences are hilarious.
If I make good decisions, I'm a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I wrote a very brief intro for this week, which I then didn't use. But basically, I was stating that there are fewer buys this week than there were people buying the Deshaun Watson excuses, which is true because there were fuck all buys this week. The other thing I had was fewer buys than people that bought Cheetos lip balm, which apparently was a thing. Very briefly.
What's really incredible about this game is you put a new quarterback in and the defense gets better.
Well, because
Because they're not on the field all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And Cedric Tillman's a thing.
Cedric Tillman's a thing. Elijah Moore's a thing.
Yeah.
Cedric Tillman hadn't. I think he's been in the League 2. This is his second
Hadn't
season.
caught a touchdown, had
He
he?
hadn't caught a pass until 2 weeks ago. He's had.
It's ridiculous.
It's almost like there's belief in the team because they know they're not going to be. They can win a game.
Yeah.
Is this not the same thing that happened last year when Flacco came in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the team suddenly picked up. Now, I don't think Jameis will have the long-term effect that Flacco had because if you had good Jameis this week, next week is bad Jameis. We all know this is coming, but you're going to watch because it'll be hilarious and entertaining, and they still might pull it off because you've now got a running game, you've got a defense that's not so gassed, and you've got a galvanized offense. And all the talk about, Stefanski could be in trouble. I think Stefanski was under pressure to keep playing Watson from the back room.
Yeah.
Stefanski has been coach of the year twice.
Yeah.
And
What a solid job he is doing if he turns this around. If they get anywhere near the playoffs, you can't fault it.
But it's the ownership's worst nightmare because, to your point, they want Deshaun Watson to keep playing because they paid him so much money. They made a history-making deal with him.
He should never play for them again.
I completely agree, but they keep trying him out because they want to be proved right. That's going to get Stefanski fired, and if I was Stefanski, they're saying, if that's your decision, fuck you, I'm out of here because this is ridiculous. Because as soon as a proper quarterback comes in, Flacco or Winston, Jesus Christ, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah. As soon as a proper quarterback comes in, they suddenly start winning again.
I agree with you completely. I think the other thing that I thought was hilarious is the number of stories that came out saying that they had insurance on his contract in case of injury for Deshaun Watson.
Ooh, nice.
So apparently they're no worse off now.
Well,
Bastards.
this could be a very difficult injury to come back from. Then I can see that coming.
Well, season ending, anyways.
Well, it could be season and a half at this rate, just
Would-
to save some money.
Would
Jimmy
any-
Haslam there going, just
Send him to Germany. He
one
needs
of
a special.
one of the rookies like, can you fucking Tonya Harding this cunt?
Would any other franchise, if Watson were released from his contract, take him?
No.
No.
Come on, it's the NFL.
Yeah, they
Nothing
would.
will surprise
The Jets
me.
No, I don't think they would.
The
I think
Jets
it's-
might, the Saints might.
I think he'd
Bad.
sit-
There's loads of bad. There's loads of
I agree with you. A bad franchise might, but I
Raiders and Jets are
think-
the
I
only
think
ones
the
for me.
damage-
Panthers.
Damage is
It's like when,
Titans.
Cam. It's like when Cam.
Yeah.
Everyone realised
Yeah.
Cam was spent. It'd be the same thing.
It's not that we're tarring Cam with the same brush, so let's just make that very
No,
clear.
but in terms of like his drop off in performance,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
A great player can apparently get away with everything that he done off the field. Bear in mind, before all that happened, he was a good player.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right, there's no doubt about that. A shit player can't get away with doing shit off the field. No, just it's not going to happen.
But the only thing he hasn't done is shit on the field, isn't it?
literally, yeah.
Can we go to the Bengals next?
Well,
Can we
hang on,
stay-
it's my
Oh,
turn.
Yeah, but can
It's
we?
my turn, and the answer's no.
Oh, Griff,
No.
come on.
You didn't put your hand up.
Can we mention the
Yeah.
Ravens in this game?
Yeah, you can do. How did they blow this so badly?
Because they can't catch footballs. It seems.
Well,
Yeah,
the
drops,
defense-
defensive
well,
drops,
the
offensive drops.
That wasn't
Hamilton was drop was
the Rashad Bateman wasn't. That shouldn't qualify as a drop.
It hit
Because
him
he
in
tried
the
to catch it
chest.
with his face.
Yeah,
But there were big drops all over. But yeah,
But the Hamilton one-
the Hamilton
Yeah,
one
Hamilton was
is as
bad.
easy as interception as you'll see.
It looked like Winston was throwing it to Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, and almost as if Hamilton was so surprised it ended up with him because it was such a
It was like two
stupid.
steps ahead-
It's
two
a
steps
it's a
ahead of the receiver.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you what it looked like. It looked like a team who didn't think they'd be in a game.
yeah.
They thought
they weren't
this
ready.
is fair. We're going to walk this reasonably easily, and they just weren't ready. And you don't often get that from a Harbaugh team. But honestly, that's what it looked like.
I think you do get they sometimes lose stupid games.
Based on their history in the playoffs as well.
Well, yeah,
And this year they've lost 3 games. They lost to the Chiefs.
fair enough. Yeah,
They could have
By
beat
a
the
toe,
Chiefs
by a toe.
by a toe.
yeah,
They could have beat them. They've lost to the Raiders and the Browns.
yeah.
They're 2 teams that you should beat. This team should be 6-1, whatever. But it's what the Ravens do. They make it hard for themselves when things are easy, and also when things are hard in the playoffs, they fuck up as well. They were the most baffling team in the NFL.
Gary, take me to where you wanted to go with the Bengals.
I think we're in that division, aren't we? So let's
Yeah, go on.
just talk it through because
Eagles 37, Bengals 17, and the Bengals' playoff hopes are done.
yeah, the Eagles look
They're growing
solid.
into the season.
They're really
How many
growing into
rushing
the season.
touchdowns did Hurts have? 3?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful. I paid $32 for him in our auction league, and he finally showed up halfway through the season.
I'm sure he's delighted.
My
that he's
season's
doing that for you.
completely
I was
gone.
going to say your playoff hopes have gone.
Completely gone already. Hey, fuck you, Jim. But I still lost. Oh, no, actually, I did win. So yeah, they seem to be like that. When the Eagles are good, they are solid in defence. They run the ball well. Saquon looks just really good, and that AJ Brown's
John
back
Saquon
and
looks really
fit.
good.
So I think the Eagles look really strong. To be fair,
The defense, which has looked appalling at times this season, really good. They're starting to they're getting players back, but Cooper DeJean is pretty good.
He's good.
Joining that massively long list of good white cornerbacks.
Exactly, yeah. Was he the one who tipped the ball? Tipped the ball to the interception, which was
oh yeah,
brilliant play.
That was my Sweetest player of the week. That one
Well, there you go. But yeah, it was just
ruined it.
Do you know
It's-
what they did as well, the Eagles? They finally still didn't manage to score a point in the first quarter.
Yes.
Despite scoring 37 points. They have not scored a first quarter point all season. That's mad. How are you doing that?
So I think the Eagles one, I think they'll probably still come through to just win that division, just past the Commanders.
I don't
I
know.
think
it might come down to head with that sort of
It
thing.
might do.
I agree,
So
Gary.
I think
they've
they've
got
just
more,
come
they've got more
through.
pedigree in terms of winning with this team of players. I think in the future, if the Commanders
Next year,
carry
I
on the same trajectory that they're on, then maybe that's
Yeah.
a bit more
I
competitive.
think both will probably come out of the division.
I think you're right.
But then the Bengals just
Are they
abject.
just like an average team this year?
Yes. If that.
No, they're just a bad team.
Yeah, because
They've got 2 great players.
lots of people were hyping them to go to the Super Bowl. We were hyping this should be a potential Super
I had them
Bowl
as
matchup.
I had them down as my Super Bowl
But they've
losers.
been just, I mean, I say distinctly average, and you say bad. I think on their day they can still be a good team, but they're not having any days, and I think that might put Zach Taylor on the hot
just
seat.
don't seem to have any balance to them at all.
They are if
They're
they're one of the
biggest-
teams that should be going after a Brees
Brees
Hall
Hall.
or something like
That's what I was
that.
gonna say.
They are so missing a run
They
game.
averaged 2.9 yards per rush at the weekend. And since they lost Joe Mixon, they've had nothing. Zach Moss didn't work out. That was always a bit of a roll of the dice. He was a very hot and cold player at the Bills. And Chase Brown is not a lead back.
bit of a
I was gonna say,
catching
both
back, isn't he?
Chase Brown and Zach Moss are both backup running.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need some it's all on Burrow, and occasionally he can get the ball to Jamar Chase and they can create something that probably very few quarterback wide receiver combinations can do.
I think that's
But
with
it's
T.
relied
Higgins
on
as well.
T. Higgins as
I
well. T.
think-
Higgins knows he's not there next year,
Yeah.
so
But T. Higgins has
He's
been
brilliant.
playing well.
He should be looking
he's been
to trade
brilliant.
him away.
it should be looking. He should be.
I still think he's the most likely wide receiver to move. I think he'll still go.
Yeah, he could
Because they've got nothing. I don't think they've got anything left to play for this season.
No,
I think
it's
they're done.
I think
They
they're
might as
done.
well get some
We've got to
value out of it.
remove one from the.
Not this week, but we can
Well,
like
it
if
must
you
be time, Griff.
not
No,
this
next week,
not
next
this
week.
week. All
Power
right.
rankings and removals.
I know.
Yeah, there's a lot next week.
yeah.
Right,
Griff's
my,
not
my turn. Right, I'm diving in with what may prove to be one of the biggest talking points of the week. It wasn't one of the better games, but Colts 20, Texans 23, and we're all too tired to talk about this one. We could all just tap out and have a break, or we could man up and carry on. Anthony,
It's not even manning up and
it's just carrying on.
carrying on.
Anthony
That's what a
Richardson
quarterback does.
Basically is now benched. That is
Done
it.
for the season, I think.
I don't know, because I'm not sure Flacco's
Yes.
going to be everything, but Flacco's going to be okay.
Unless
And
Flacco's injured.
The Colts are
he'll be
4-4. This is the point. Richardson has been terrible, but they have been winning.
Yeah, but he's been not playing.
Well, Flacco's only won one of those games. Flacco's 1-1 so far this season.
All Richardson needs to do is shut his mouth. If he
Don't
just
be
kept-
honest.
Keep your mouth shut, and you'd have probably been starting next week.
Well,
The quarterback can't come out of the game because the
What
way
was-
he was tapping his head, I thought, oh, it's concussion. And then they showed the replay, and it's like, not really sure how you get a concussion from that, but all right. And then it comes out he's tired. You can't be doing that at a quarterback.
of course you can't. Especially when your stats at halftime are 2 of 11 for 85 yards and a touchdown. Like 2 of 11,
I mean, it doesn't get much better. He finished 10 for 32.
He was
2 quarterbacks with the worst completion rate than him since 2004.
He's not a quarterback.
Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell
I shared the picture, didn't I?
and Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Russell was like 44 and Tebow was 44.6.
Oh, JP Losman.
Oh, and JP Lossman, yes, you're quite right, of the Bills. Famously, you don't remember because he was shit.
so. I saw his stat line. Under pressure, he was 5 for 17. So if you pressure him, he makes bad throws.
Yep.
Under no pressure, he was 5 for 15. So you don't need to pressure him. He just makes bad throws.
All you need
He's
to do
worse
is
than he
stop
was
him.
last year when he was.
All you need to do is stop him getting to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Because when he runs the ball, obviously he's a big guy, difficult to stop. Get that. He can't throw the ball for fucking toffee. Like his vision, his going for the reads, his accuracy are all terrible. I know we talk about quarterback bust. This is one of the biggest busts.
Well, the Bengals need a running back.
Now,
Yeah. If I was
Well-
him, I'd be looking to go to running back to carry on my career.
here's the
He
thing.
can't pass the ball.
Here's the thing. Anthony
could be a running
Richardson,
back.
He could be a Taysom Hill.
but Anthony Richardson has still only started 12 games since high school, 14 games since high
It's
school.
24. Well,
mean,
he's played in 24 games.
Played in 24.
college.
Yeah. But not a lot of games. Like he hasn't started a lot of games. He needs to sit. This is the
Trey Lance all over again.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it is currently Trey Lance, but he could still be Love. Like, go back to the bench, sit for another
No, I don't
18
think-
months
sorry,
behind
I
Joe
I
Flacco.
completely disagree.
He
with
throws
that.
a much love.
Yeah.
Much
I'm
better
not saying the
ball.
talent is the
Jordan
same.
Love is a quarterback. This guy's not. He's not a quarterback. And I had a big rant on this on our Discord channel. This is where
I even
Scout-
joined in.
Yeah,
I
this-
found
this is
Discord
where-
and joined in for a change.
scouts are
What's
saying,
Discord?
You're not on
It's a
it.
social media thing.
We don't confuse you with technology. This is where
It confuses me,
yeah,
and I
this-
know technology.
This is where they're drafting.
We just send pictures of our dicks to each other.
It's actually pronounced dick court.
Dick God.
They're drafting the athlete first, not the quarterback.
Yeah.
They're drafting on potential, but it's potential way, way, way in the future. If you can't be a good pocket passer in this league, you're not going to succeed.
No.
The only reason Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are doing as well as they are now is because they've improved their passing.
Yes.
Josh Allen's first season was terrible. He improved his passing and he got a lot better. Lamar Jackson, very average pocket passer. He improved that. This season, I think he's having the best season he has, better than the 2 MVP seasons he's had previously. Jalen Hurts, I had a big issue with Jalen Hurts because he couldn't fucking pass the ball. He's actually gone down a little bit from last season, but he's still better than what he was.
It looked better this week. It was his
Yeah,
best
this,
week.
This week was been his best week. GMs can't be drafting players that can't be a pocket passer. Look at what Jared Goff's doing now. Sitting in the pocket, distributing the ball, getting it to playmakers, making yards and winning games.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I still think if you bench Richardson for long enough and just let him sit and learn, you can get some play out of him. But I do not think.
Yeah.
I do not think he's a franchise quarterback.
He's going to be a Taysom. He could be a Taysom,
Taysom Hill, yeah.
If he wants to carry on his career,
But that's not what you draft, is it?
No, exactly.
Nobody drafts Taysom Hill.
No,
Exactly.
you
But-
pay $22 million a year because you're somehow mad. But
If Flacco remains fit and plays the rest of the season, bear in mind they're 4-4, do the Colts go into the last game of the season with a shot at making the playoffs?
Well, it is a bad division, so maybe.
I think if I could use one of our old favourite words, they'd be contenders.
Last week of the season, yes or no?
Yes.
I agree.
I agree.
I think they can go into the last week of the season with a chance of the playoffs.
I absolutely think you're right. Like they've got winnable games.
Shame they haven't got Gardner Minshew anymore, isn't it? Really?
They've got some tough games, but they could certainly be.
They're a much better. They're twice as good team with
keeping Gardner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
He knew the system. He knew the players.
He knew the player. He knew the players that he was going to overthrow.
We should talk about Joe Mixon had another 100-yard performance, was brilliant, another touchdown, and CJ Stroud threw 86 yards the week before. This week, 285 yards. He was massively improved. It was he had one of his worst games last week. He looked poor for one of the very few times we've seen it since he came into the league, and he turned it right round again on a Colts defense that hasn't been bad.
No, the defense in Indianapolis is good.
Yeah. So,
but CJ Stroud was back to being what we expect. Problem being, Stephon Diggs is now out for the season.
this is what we're getting.
So what happens?
So when does Collins come back?
I don't know if he does he?
Nico
Collins is not
hamstring, so he could be back in.
They are shy of a receiver.
It's
for
what
about
happened
the next
last
3
year.
weeks.
Tank Dell broke his leg.
Tank Dell, and then Collins got injured, and suddenly he was throwing it to John Mechie. And it's getting the same sort of feeling this year because Collins is injured, Diggs is down, Tank Dell.
So what you're saying is he's looking
Tank
for
Dell scored a touchdown this week.
Tank Dell is great.
Back, yeah.
Tank Dell's also like 5'8".
Yeah, so
and he's not like Devontae Smith.
You're suggesting he's looking for a John who might want a career change right now.
We mentioned it in the last game. Go out and get T. Higgins because even like renting him just for the year helps this team get through that kind of patch. Stephon Diggs' contract ends this year anyway.
Yeah.
You haven't got to worry about paying him next year if you don't want to. T. Higgins is on the franchise tag. You don't have to worry about paying him next year as well, unless you really want to. Go out and get him and try and get this team over there.
I also thought it would be fun to see CJ Stroud throwing to OBJ, who's just sitting festering, doing nothing really. Like, drag him in for the rest of the season.
I don't know why he doesn't just fucking retire.
Yeah.
He's done.
But probably.
He's marketable and can earn.
He's there for shirt sales. He's basically just on fucking Miami Beach, fucking just chilling out, isn't he?
Who's diving in next?
Can I go with the Bills?
Of course.
Bills 31, 10 Seahawks, and so the other week I purred about how good Geno Smith was, and
But he's not God, is he, John?
No, turns out, you need to help him. And how long have we been doing this podcast? Is it 8 years?
Yeah.
Every year we've gone, the Seahawks offensive line isn't good enough. And it's the offensive line at the Seahawks isn't good enough again. Couldn't run the Kenneth Walker, is an exciting talent. At one point, he had to run out to the left to then run back across the field. And he still made yards, but he had to run like 30 yards to make 3.
Yeah.
Did you start that by choking on your range?
Yeah, so I had a DP burp.
Had 9 carries for 12 yards. That's 1.3 average. And Zach Charbonnet, who's also turned up at times this season, 3 carries for 4 yards, also 1.3.
Yeah, but Geno Smith at 5 carries for 16 yards.
At 3.2. But he isn't God. I go back to Geno Smith isn't God. He's also throwing to...
isn't good.
He's God. He's good. He's not God.
He's not good.
No, he's not God. This is the point.
Harsh,
but Jackson Smith and Jigba, 6 receptions for 69 yards. But for me, so far this season, disappointing.
So far in his career.
Yeah, sure. But why did Tyler Lockett only end up with 1 reception for 9 yards?
He's a bit hot and cold now, isn't he? Like, it was games where he's the target and games
because
where
he should be the leading receiver in this game. No DK.
What about Jake Bobo?
Well,
what about Jake Bobo? Yes, you tell me. Go on.
He always reminds me of a clown.
Also, who knew LaVisca Chenault Jr. was still alive?
I did, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they had a good return the other week.
Yeah.
Of his career.
He's mainly there for the return game.
It might say a bit about it might also say that the Bills' defense is turning up. Because they were.
Bills are just getting better and better.
I'm sorry. The Bills beat up on bad teams.
Yeah, they always have done. They're flat track bullies. But this is what the Ravens aren't doing regularly.
Fair.
They've lost to, what did you say? It was the Browns and the Raiders. The Bills would just dismantle those teams. You know they're going to throw it away against the Chiefs in the end, but they're doing what you want them to do. The Bills just get better and better every week. They're kind of silently just running away with the AFC.
But the AFC East is terrible.
Or the East is. I mean, like, that division has become a non-competition.
But do you mean become? it was a competition for like a year when it transitioned from the.
But
Pats
we all
to
expected
Bills.
the
Like,
Dolphins and the Jets to be closer this year, and for various reasons they're not.
The key word of what you said there is running. The Bills are running the ball.
Yeah,
James Cook is looking serviceable.
Looks good.
and you know who
Very
isn't having to
serviceable.
do all the running? Josh Allen.
Well, he needed a few weeks off because he was getting battered, wasn't he?
He was.
They were also like it was a mad because at the start of the game the weather was horrible, wasn't it? And Allen had his first interception because of
Of the season.
It sort of displayed a lot about both teams that they got the Bills were. It was a tipped thing, interception. One of those just awful plays where then the Seahawks couldn't run it in from the 1 yard line, and on the fourth down, Geno Smith got tripped over by one of his own players.
I got stood on by the centre, didn't
Yeah,
he?
just and then in the next, in the next set of plays by the Bills, at one point Allen fumbles the ball, kicks it into the arms of the offensive lineman on the floor. He's like, a little bit of luck, but they didn't. You make your own luck because the Bills were brilliant that week.
Back to your thing about the O-line and then the injuries and drop-off in play from Tyler Lockett, etc., but the wide receiver core. Last season, Geno, 20 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. That is a good return from any quarterback in the league. You'd be okay with that.
Solid.
This season, he's on pace for 17 touchdowns, but 15 interceptions. That's a problem because he is forcing the ball to players that
He's having to.
aren't that good.
He's not the type of quarterback that.
That's not what you want him to do there. He's a glorified Alex Smith. He's a game manager, and that's fine. He's become a really good game manager.
If you're
But
going to
this
be a
is-
game manager, you need to have a good running game.
Yeah, and this is a problem. So, yeah.
The NFC West is now very interesting.
Yep.
There's
Well-
three teams on 4 and 4, and then like the Cardinals lagging behind. Is that right?
The Cardinals in top of the division, aren't
Yeah, the
Cardinals are
Cardinals
top.
are
The
top.
way around, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all like 4
Do you
and
want
4 then.
Do you want to talk about the
Yeah,
Cardinals?
well, both divisions because
Yeah.
the
So,
Dolphins and the Cardinals.
so Cardinals 28, Dolphins 27, and basically Tua is back,
Yep.
looking good.
looking good, but they come up short.
Yeah.
They come up short. Then what's the name of the tight end for the Cardinals? Is it McBride?
Right.
Oh yeah, Trey
Like
McBride. Yeah.
he was one of the only tight ends this weekend on national fucking stupid tight ends they not to score, but he had 124 yards.
There was a lot of tight ends.
Yeah,
There was.
16.
I can't stand
It's a
National
whole-
Tight End Day.
The whole NFL is scripted has come back here.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
oh,
because
National
it's-
Tight End Day, and all the tight ends have scored. This is unbelievably scripted. It's like, yeah, right. It doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it does look bad.
God, I mean, just imagine someone. Yeah, well, the last week in October, we should have all the tight ends score. Like, oh, that's gonna be fucking exciting, isn't it?
Well, anyway, the point is the Dolphins looked like this was a glorious returning sail to an easy victory for Tua, and the Cardinals are just hanging around this season and making a nuisance of themselves.
They're
and
good.
doing
the
enough.
Cardinals.
Are
Some
they good?
musty things
Yeah.
going around.
Are they good?
Yeah. They are not. They're not the fucking Chiefs or whatever. But
Well, I'm not
They're-
saying they're
but
bad,
they're
but are they
also not-
good?
They're
They're
also not
good.
Titans. They're going to be competitive in most games they play in.
They're okay.
And I think they're taking last
Step
year.
forward.
Last year you saw them be competitive in games and probably lose most of them. This year you're seeing being in competitive games only losing 50% of them.
yeah,
So they're making progress. And I think that's it's still relatively new head coach. He's only in his second year. He didn't have his starting quarterback for most of last year.
True.
He's got him this year, and you can see the progress in the team. You can see players becoming better. We're talking about Trey McBride. Who was he kind of at the beginning of last season?
Yeah.
This season, he's like one of the top 5 tight ends in fantasy because you knew he was going to get production. James Conner is solid. Didn't have a great game.
did not great this week, but
he's
he's
solid overall. And they're adding pieces. They're improving the offensive line. They're improving the defense. They've got Marvin Harrison, all right. He's not probably put up the yards we expected him to.
but he's
from
scoring
the height,
touchdowns.
but he's still
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So
And-
it's progress.
They don't. They have a quarterback who has a particular set of skills. He's not. He's
He's
not
going to
ta-
find you.
Find
He's going
you.
to kill you.
But yeah,
What? Liam Neeson was playing a quarterback.
He's going to see you, and he's going to run away from you.
He's also very good at Call of Duty.
Yeah, but like,
wasn't he missing? They couldn't find him or something. He just didn't turn up when he was supposed to. 'Cause he was...
No, there was just a really tall table.
yeah,
John,
but yeah,
point.
and they are.
Come on, John,
they are.
point.
Shut the fuck up, guys. They're building a game plan to
What are you
suit
trying
that.
to say?
And like there was the one play where Jalen Ramsey is running at him completely unblocked, and only Kyler Murray can move. Maybe peak Lamar can move in a way to make
Jinked out the way.
jinx out of the way, makes a beautiful throw to the sideline. The
key to that was he had to wait for Ramsey to commit. That was the thing. Like I know the play. He absolutely had to wait, and you just thought, he's gonna get absolutely destroyed. And you have to wait that split second to get the player to commit, and then it's an open throw.
Yeah,
and that was peak Kyler. The problem I think is how many times a season do you get peak Kyler? Really, 5, 6, maybe. Yeah, come on now.
But then that's fine. Like,
well, they have a share of the lead of the NFC West.
So a share of the lead. So it's the Cardinals, the Niners, Seahawks, all 4-4. The Rams have had their bye week, and they're 3-4.
Yeah,
that's
how
tight.
How
many teams in that division have got a positive points difference so far this season?
None.
One.
Cardinals.
No.
Oh, go on then.
The 49ers.
Ah, okay. Well,
so the 49ers, so they're second, obviously, because of the divisional record, but
the Dolphins with this loss dropped to 2-5.
The whole division is just up and down there.
Well, but then back to the AFC East then. So the Dolphins are 2-5, the Patriots are 2-6, the Jets are 2-6, and the Bills are like 6-1. 6-1 or
6-2.
6-2. Sorry, right.
Yeah.
Like that division's over. That's the opposite to the NFC West.
That's the way it's always been. It's just now it's the Bills. It was the Patriots.
Pats,
It was exactly the same.
You think about it. This time last year,
Whereas
Bills.
The West has always been like that, hasn't it?
The Bills were firing their offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
they are. The fact that they can probably go into the postseason this year comfortable might mean that they aren't absolutely on the absolute ragdoll by the end of it. Like it might be good for them that they can go in under less pressure by the end of the season and sort of go in prepared for the off season because they've been fighting for it last year, and it's bizarre. It's not the best year. There are no standout teams at the moment.
Let's talk, if we may, about another one of the NFC West teams. So on Thursday Night Football last week, Vikings 20, Rams 30. Vikings lose their second game in a row, but this game had a peak controversial moment that will reverberate through what happens in the off-season when they meet to discuss the rules. Because Sam Darnold's head was pretty much wrenched from his body in his own end zone as he tried to throw a pass to get the Vikings back up the field with a minute and change on the clock while they were only down by a score. And the official, despite standing 10 yards away,
I don't know how
did not see it. He said it's because Darnold was facing away from him. But when the face mask was grabbed, Darnold's body was facing away from him, but his eyes were staring the fucker down. No one, even the player who did the face mask, walked away, smacking himself in the head, knowing he's given up all those yards. And nothing. Now, the Vikings have had lucky moments, and we know they're not an unbeatable team, but they didn't necessarily deserve to lose this way to this Rams team.
But that's a fault of the league. That's not a fault of the Vikings.
Sure, because it's not reviewable.
Yeah.
But what will happen is that is going to become reviewable.
I don't understand how they decide what penalties are and aren't reviewable.
Not even just penalties, you can review the spot as well, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's
so much is reviewable that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
and
this is not.
Thank you, that's the word. It's absolutely egregious and blatant. And it's wrong that you can't check that.
You come back, you mentioned it loads and loads in the past. If 5 guys in a pub can spot it, then it's a fucking foul.
Basically, they need to make us the review panel.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. If it's one of these ones where you have to go into slow motion and watch it at like 0.25 speed.
You didn't.
No.
No.
And that's the key thing with this one.
That's where I think they often say it's like the evidence has to be conclusive to prove the referee wrong.
I think the problem is
there was nothing inconclusive about that.
If you can challenge everything, and you don't lose your challenge if you get it right, yeah, you're going to keep stopping the game, aren't you?
But
The game stops anyway.
but there's an eye in the sky, right? In
that-
New York,
but
they
that's-
should just be going. You've missed this.
That's what I was going to say.
That's exactly it.
So it's
Yeah.
not. I don't think it's a case of
Don't
the
give them more challenges. No.
But
But they do it in rugby, don't they? If there's a foul,
TMO,
if there's foul
yeah.
play, even if there's foul play in rugby, which the referee has missed, they call the game back.
Yeah.
And they review it.
That's
all they
that's
have to
all
do.
they have to do. And it's very rare that other sports do replay stuff better than the NFL. But rugby has got that right, and that is what needs to happen. It's the same as we've been saying about VAR for years on football. Once you have to start putting lines on the pitch to tell me whether the guy's arse is offside or not, it ain't offside. Carry on. You know what I mean? Like,
offside tonight.
yeah, Paul. You're, but you can't have that because everything is live. Like, sports should be allowed to flow. But then there are moments like this, and Paul, please don't emphasise any flow right now. There are sports
I get your
moments
point.
like this which are just egregious.
But football is so stop-start. It's not out of the realms of possibility for New York to stop this.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop this for 30 seconds.
yeah, it's good TV time out.
On the plus side for the Rams, Kyron Williams has scored for a 10th consecutive game, which is nuts. Like, that takes a lot.
And Puka Nakua came back,
And means no worries for the rest of your days.
and
Yeah.
And Cooper Cup, like, everyone was there.
and I
What a
didn't
wonderful
play him.
name.
I didn't play him, but I didn't need him. So.
No. But the Rams now have their pieces back. They're a game back in the division. But suddenly you'd be saying, well, the Rams might be the most dangerous team because their injured players are back. The Niners, as good as
Coming
they've been,
back.
slowly. Most
Mr. McCaffrey's coming back.
Week 10. Still a few weeks away.
if you get
We'll be in it.
3
We'll
games
still be
out
in
of
it.
him, I'll be amazed. Let's cover the Niners while we're here then. So Cowboys 24, Niners 30, and basically it was Dak and CeeDee Lamb against, well, whatever the Niners can throw on the field, and Shanahan wins because Mick McCarthy.
That's what happens. The 49ers and the
Beat the
Cowboys
Cowboys,
play,
yeah.
49ers win, and the
Even without a running
Cowboys
back not
somehow
available to play.
end up embarrassed by it.
There's 2 stats I like about this game. One, Brock Purdy, 8 carries for 56 yards.
Go on, Brock.
The whole of the Cowboys team, 19 carries for 56 yards.
Yeah, I mean, so Dalvin Cook made his debut for the Cowboys and averaged 3.1 yards, which is about the same as
He
Zeke.
averaged 2 yards.
2 yards, sorry, yeah, which is about the same as Zeke has been managing.
And the second stat I like about this is that Dak Prescott gets paid roughly
Yeah.
for a quarter what Brock Purdy gets for the year, and Brock Purdy's 3-0 against
3-0
Dak
against him.
Prescott.
This isn't on Dak. This is
No.
what has happened to the team. Dak and CeeDee Lamb are playing really well. And everyone else on this Cowboys team is playing like shite.
And we
That's all,
want
that's
how
all that's on the team.
Yeah.
Anyone want to take a guess how many targets that CD Lamb had?
11?
No more.
14.
17.
17.
Wow.
Spot on.
Look at that. Who needs a computer?
17 out of 37.
Madness.
Yeah.
If only they'd have had talented players like, I don't know, Noah Brown on
Yeah.
that team at some point.
Or Michael Gallup.
Or Michael Gallup, who retired rather than became a Raider.
Yeah.
TY.
Standard.
All the players they've had
Yeah.
in the last
Yeah.
years, yeah.
Look, I have written a side note back here that says, I sense a sacking. Will it be Dennis Allen or Mick McCarthy first? We'll get to Dennis Allen in a minute. But how long is Jerry Jones going to realistically continue to watch this rubbish?
Well, you knows he only has to watch it for another
8 games, 9 games.
9 games.
It'll be Black Monday or whatever for
McCarthy. Well, McCarthy just
McCarthy.
he just
there's
basically
always
just be
there's
told-
always Black Monday, isn't it? When they sack all the coaches.
that's
You're looking at me like I'm saying something weird, Michael. Like I'm getting it confused.
No,
with like
no.
A
You
stock
know.
exchange
Sometimes when
failing or
I go
something.
to say something and then I have to stop myself saying something, that was one of those moments. I've done very well. John hasn't got to edit the podcast. This has gone brilliantly. So we'll come back to the
there's
Dennis
no
Allen
point
thing.
firing him.
No, he's right. There's no
The,
point.
the
It'll be
team's
Black
shit.
Monday, just for shits
Well,
and
what
giggles.
Jerry actually needs to do is fire himself.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. He needs to step aside.
Okay, let's put a pin in that one. There's only a handful of games left. Does anybody want to jump on any of the ones that are left, or shall I just
Well, should we
leave
manage to go to Dennis Allen?
it? Okay,
The
Dennis
Saints
Allen.
8,
This-
Chargers 23. Let's not talk about
Chargers
the Saints.
26. The Chargers basically did what every team's going to do against this Saints team, and the Saints have got nothing.
The Saints are
because
appalling.
they were already bad, but without Derek Carr, they got Jack. Spencer Rattler is terrible.
Yeah, but Spencer Rattler with no receivers and
No, that's not fair.
But Spencer Rattler is terrible. Who did they play after him?
Jake Hayner.
Jake Hayner. I wanted to say Hendon Hooker, but that's the Lions. Jake Hayner also I mean, you look better than Spencer Rattler, but then you'd probably look better than Spencer Rattler.
I mean, it's a QBR rating of 30 for Spencer Rattler and 43 for Jake Hayner.
Wow.
Yeah, that is not good. I just wrote we could canonise these Saints with a huge cannon. That was all I could come up with.
Lad McConkey for the Chargers looks really cool.
Now, so we asked, who is Herbert going to throw to? And Lad McConkey then had a brilliant game. It's a terrible name.
It's a great name.
No.
It's a great name.
We love Lad McConkey.
Jalen Rager. Former first-round pick.
Yeah.
That's how good Herbert is.
Looked good. Oh, don't start that shit.
This game
I
requires
brought this up
He's got the
because
same hair. He must be great.
if you watch this game, Herbert has 4 or 5 throws in this plays in this game that no other quarterback in the league can do.
Bullshit.
It was he has ability like very few. The mad thing is he's playing on this fucking Chargers team who are only going to score 20 to 25 points a game unless they play the Saints where they get 26. But actually it's fine. You have a good defense. You're able to move the ball on the ground, and when you need it, you have an elite quarterback who can find Lad McConkey
Question.
and find Jalen Rager.
Question. Should the Chargers be going to the Jets with a 6th-round pick and saying, can we have Mike Williams back, please?
Or 7th round.
Or 7th-round pick?
No, it's Mike Williams. It's not as good as you lot say.
No,
They should try and go
he
and get
isn't.
Garrett Wilson.
But him and Herbert did work.
They should try. No.
If they could get Garrett Wilson,
Yeah,
then
Garrett Wilson, sure, but that's going to cost you more.
Or T.
Yeah.
Higgins.
Again.
it's going to cost you. But
All right, I'm moving on from that game.
the
You've nailed that.
the Chargers are finding themselves in playoff contention,
Well, they're
and
well
that's where they
coached,
need to be.
that's why.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, also,
it's coming through now,
they're
yeah.
putting themselves in a position where they're probably going to get a decent wideout in the next draft.
Yeah. Which is something else they're going to need.
It'd be great when they get a tight end or a offensive
I've got
lineman.
one here,
'cause it's
Chris.
hard.
Yeah, go on.
So you've said here, I've read your notes.
Eventually.
Now
we're an hour in. Yeah, we're an hour in. Yeah.
So Chiefs 27, Raiders 20. Are the Chiefs the worst 7-0 team you can remember? No. Because I can remember the Alex Smith
Chiefs.
7-0 Chiefs as well.
And I obviously went and looked this up beforehand. They were much more dominant than this team.
Yes. But
They were fucking dull.
They delivered fuck all by the end of the season.
Sure, but the Chiefs haven't delivered anything this season yet.
Didn't they go out to Mariota passing to himself?
Yes. Okay. If I'd have
the Chiefs haven't delivered. They're 7-0.
no, but we're talking at the end of the season. He said
yeah.
they didn't deliver anything at the end.
fair.
They haven't delivered anything at the end. If I'd have said they're the least dominant 7-0 team you've seen,
Yes.
okay,
True
fine,
that.
fine.
It depends what you mean by dominant. They
Do they look
just
beatable every week?
no.
Pretty much.
Oh,
No.
Come on
I
now.
disagree with that.
They know. It's like I was trying to think of an equivalent. All I could think of it might work for you. Do you remember Prost in F1?
Yeah.
If he had to finish 5th he'd finish 5th, maybe 4th. That's what they're doing. They're just doing enough to win each week. They don't need. There's no point blowing the
Patriots are
doors.
very similar.
I think the biggest difference is that we're used to Kansas being an offensive juggernaut.
Yeah, they're a defensive team now.
They're a defensive team. If the 1985 Chicago Bears were winning by 3-7 points and it was 15-12 in every game, we'd be like, oh, aren't they an amazing team? Aren't they brilliant? Their defense is absolutely incredible. They are lacking pass catchers. They obviously traded for DeAndre Hopkins. He's come in. They had a whole load of injuries. Forget they lost Pacheco as well. I'm brought in Kareem Hunt. It's not a like for like, but it's certainly people coming into the game. Patrick Mahomes is not having the season that we've come to expect.
But he's not being asked to
didn't
do the
last
stuff.
year either.
He didn't last year, but he's still doing just enough to get them over that. To John's point, they're winning games, and actually, when it comes to it, that stat of 7-0 is all that fucking matters. Isn't it?
Yeah, I think we get so caught up on what the Chiefs have been, we aren't going to appreciate the fact that this year they're not blowing teams away, but what they're doing is they're keeping Kelsey fresh for December and January when it's going to matter.
If anything, they could end the season being a stronger team than what they ended the last 2 seasons.
Actually, their team.
So Patriots.
It is very
just
Patriots.
just
I'd
horrid.
not be surprised to see him go out and add another defensive piece just to solidify the defense.
I don't-
And I really like Andy Reid. I don't want to hate him. I don't want to end up hating him. Like, and I like Patrick Mahomes, and I don't want to end up hating him either. I wish someone would just fucking beat him this year.
I still think they might.
I don't think they're going to win it all this year.
But I think
I do.
I think they are
I think they're going to be very difficult.
going to be really. You can't shoot out this Chiefs team anymore. They will crush you.
Briefly on the Raiders, they were a Gardner Minshew fumble away from tying this game at 27-all. Obviously, they didn't. This pretty much sums them up as a team.
Yeah.
The head coach doesn't like the quarterback. It's not who he wants to play.
I don't care about the Raiders. The Raiders don't care about football.
Very quickly, yes or no, without even looking at the fixtures, do the Raiders win 3 more games this season?
No.
I am not usually one to call for coaches to go out, but Pierce needs to leave, and they actually need to get a proper
actual
football
coach
in.
Okay, that leaves us 3 games. Packers 30, Jags 27, late drama, but is Love lost once again?
On his hip, isn't he?
Groin.
Groin.
And there's nothing worse than straining your groin.
Well, sometimes.
Give me half the chance.
Depends how you got there. At our age,
Tying your shoelace.
it's a risk every time.
One sneeze away.
He was limping all game.
Yeah.
The fact that he lasted as long as he did was possibly poor.
They took him out, to be fair, pretty quickly after.
Yeah, because Malik Willis plays fine. Like,
To be fair, Deshaun Watson had his groin pulled nearly over 30 times, allegedly, and he's okay.
No, he's not.
It's not.
very good.
But yeah, I just trust the coach.
Yeah.
I trust the coach, and more importantly, I trust Josh Jacobs to save
Japes
the
is
day.
fucking brilliant.
He's so elite.
Yeah.
So elite. He's like the second most elite running back that the Packers have had in the last 5 years. that's what I would say. He's so elite. The Jags were competitive, though.
Yeah.
The Packers have good planning.
Yeah, they did.
The thing that always gets to me is when teams have bad backups.
Yep.
They realise that Love got injured. They went for a like-for-like backup. Malik Willis is not going to be a Super Bowl MVP. But then Nick Foles was. You never know. Jeff Hotstedt laws. I'm going to shut up on that point. But Malik Willis is going to give you a similar level of play. You're not going to have to completely change things around by bringing Malik Willis in.
I think we make too much of backup quarterbacks. What it is decent coaching. Because Malik Willis was a bloke that I couldn't see a future in the league for. He's got Matt LaFleur basically has coached him properly. And now you're going, actually, do you know what? At the very least, he's a backup now. He's a decent backup.
We were singing the praises of Malik Willis' former coach a while back.
Yeah.
Here's another point.
It's just having the right coach and the right system.
Exactly
around
that.
you.
The
And I think
Packers,
Malik Willis was right
the
for
Packers
that.
have won their last 2 games with game-winning field goals from Brandon McManus, having got rid of Novak, the kicker before.
Yeah, I can't.
This is a trend now across the league. Justin Tucker, not good. Greg Zuerlein.
That's my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault.
Yeah.
Greg Zuerlein at the Jets has cost them 3 games this season. Like,
It's just Jets.
yeah, of course. But our team's not kicking kickers out as fast as they used to. Like, there's been a lot of kickers who have been poor in the last 12 months. Brandon McManus has walked back in and kicked this team to 2 more wins.
But Brandon McManus was never poor.
No, Brandon McManus was never poor. He was missing because someone accused him of something it turns out he did not do. But why are you holding on to kickers when there's... I mean, what's your mate with the glasses that collects...
Blankenship.
Rodrigo Blankenship.
Yeah, he's out there. He's on Instagram playing with his Legos. Yeah. Get him out there. The guy's fucking elite.
He's also on Instagram replicating every best
kick. Yeah.
in the NFL,
Yeah.
Very good.
Sign him up.
The Jags now 2-6.
Hey.
Done. We already knew that. But do you want to delve into the pedophiles this week, or are we just leaving it where it is and just using the name? Okay, fine. We're nearly there, gentlemen. Falcons 31, Bucks 26. Kirk Cousins continues to make me like that. He's playing really well.
He's actually quite good.
He is quite good, is he?
It's not just him.
He's not fashionable. He's quite dull.
He can pass the
But
ball.
he
He
can.
can. He's a pocket passer, Jim.
yeah.
He's a pocket
He's a
passer.
classic quarterback. He has done well wherever he has been.
Yeah.
He made a Washington team look average. He made a
Vikings
Vikings
team
team
look good.
just above average. And now he's going to make a Falcons team look just above average.
It's true.
All after being quite poor.
Bad, yeah.
But he's getting Kyle Pitts involved, which no other quarterback there has done.
But there's more to this.
It was National Titans Day.
Kyle Pitts is apparently talent-wise one of the best tight ends in the league. I know in terms of results since he's come in, but
Not a tight end.
what he was doing in college. Bijan Robinson or Bijan Robinson
Bijan.
Bijan Robinson.
Like, what was your issue with his name, Bijan?
I've had multiple pronunciations. in the
B-
last week.
Bijan
Well,
Robinson.
just choose one, I suppose, Paul.
So we get to Tyler
Mr. Robinson.
Algier.
But you've got Robinson, Pitts, Drake London, who are all first-round talent.
Darnell Mooney.
So you've got London, Pitts, and Robinson, who are all first-round talent.
Darnell Mooney is there. Yeah.
But yeah, you've got
Hey,
Darnell
Darnell
Mooney.
Mooney's been playing
He's
well.
been
Darnell
Career year.
Mooney was the only good part of a very bad Bears team. Kirk Cousins should be doing well, and also the defense is good. You've got real Jesse Bates. I think is absolutely dominant in his position.
You'd say he's a master.
Best in the league.
Shut up.
I mean, I'd feel bad leaving that one on the bench. Would you not? That's not exactly the reaction I was hoping for.
Shut up.
Exactly. Such a child, Michael. Such a child.
Scolded by the schoolmaster.
Like, having Desmond Ridder in charge of that was like leaving a 4-year-old kid in charge of a drinks cabinet. Kirk Cousins is exactly what this team needed. And also, what we've mentioned in terms of just really clever planning, because bringing in Penis Jr. and letting him
Would
sit
never
back,
not be funny.
just letting him sit back and become Penis Senior while waiting, great. Well done.
They've bought a lot of players from coaches from the Rams.
Yes.
And bizarrely, if you're using Sean McVay's playbook and style, you're better than Arthur Smith and his. I've got a reputation as a running offensive man. End up doing nothing with it running attack.
Well, Kirk Cousins can make a lot of the same plays that Stafford can play.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or Jared Goff used to play.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're getting Pitts free because basically they're using him as a slot receiver. And yeah.
Quickly
Yeah.
on the Bucks. Look, Gary said at the weekend, bad Baker is back. Baker now has 2 of the best 10 or 12 wide receivers in the league missing, gone, potentially for a very long time. We know one of them's out for the season. He is going to have to force the ball to keep them in games. He actually put up good numbers. The 2 interceptions were not great.
No, but
He's now Johnny Manziel.
No.
Steady on.
That's hard.
This is bad.
It's not bad Baker.
This is bad coaching.
It's
So
bad. Well, yeah.
You're trying
bad
you're trying
throwing.
to make the guy throw 50 times.
Yeah.
The moment you go above 40 attempts, something's wrong.
I agree. I don't
was
think
some
this.
bad throwing, isn't
Yeah, there was, but he's forcing it to tight windows because you're making up for Godwin and Evans,
He's still got to choose to throw that pass, hasn't he?
and we
Nobody has forced him. Like, the coach isn't on the field. The
Well,
coach,
out the field, you can't throw out the field 4 times, though, can you?
well, if you have to, yeah.
You're just going to get nowhere. At least you
You get nowhere by throwing it into double coverage.
to score 26 points.
8 foot in
Yeah.
the
To score
fucking
26
sky,
points on this Falcons defense, which we've just complimented, Baker did fine, and they will be okay most of the time.
Yeah.
They are going to now lose some games they should have won.
But they've obviously lost Godwin for the season. Evans will be back
4 weeks.
soon.
Look, we'll have
But
to
Cade
agree to
Otton
disagree.
suddenly
That's
is.
the Titans, though, doesn't count.
I'm not mentioning that attention, but he's been good for a few weeks now, Cade Otton.
True.
Who, we should move on to the one remaining game left. Who is the first Broncos rookie quarterback to win 5 games in their debut season?
Bo Nix.
It is indeed Bo Nix.
You wouldn't have asked.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
But Bo Nix over
Going
Elway.
Tim Tebow,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Tim Tebow was the other one.
It's not Paxton Lynch.
So Panthers 14, Broncos 28. It's not a long review of a game. The Panthers are still terrible. It doesn't matter who's under quarterback. But Bryce Young is back because Dalton was injured in a car accident.
Yep.
I think if the Panthers have got any sense, they've got a win on the season. You're not going to go 0-17. You stick with Bryce Young and you ride it out and you see what he can do because you are either keeping him or trading him at the end of the season.
Yeah.
He either starts for you next year or he starts for someone else.
You're
So-
going to start for something.
Well, all
He-
right,
he
he's on
backups.
someone else's. He becomes someone else's problem.
Yeah.
But you have a win, so you won't go without that.
Yep.
You have to stick with him now, do you not? Like he's back.
No, I absolutely agree. You
Yeah.
do. I don't think you'll get many more wins, if any, and I think he'll be out there at the end of the season, which I think will be good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think he is still a talented quarterback. He's just in a really
Terrible.
He just needs to.
system.
If he gets whatever, he just hopes he finds himself in a decent situation.
Yeah. Like, if I guarantee if he was on the Steelers, he'd be doing 10 times better.
Yeah. back up at the Rams for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be perfect.
Should we take a break?
We are indeed taking a break. Okay, it's time to talk about first-year head coaches in the league. We've mentioned one or two candidates for being fired over the last week or two, but Jim is just going to run us through the first-year head coaches, and we'll just have a quick discussion about how we think they're getting on and what their long-term viability may be. So, James?
Do we go one by one, or do you want me to read the list out?
Oh, no, one by
One
one.
by one. All right, let's start with Dan Quinn at the Commanders then.
Dan Quinn, unlucky to be fired from his job with the Falcons.
Yeah.
And I think
Super Bowl.
proving what a really good coach he is.
I think his time at the Falcons had come to an end. Like when he, you know, but it never meant he was a bad head coach. He probably should have gone to another job. But yeah, I think he's absolutely on a winner here. He's doing so well.
Do you ever see his staff at the Falcons? Like, well, obviously, we know he had Carl Shanahan. We also had Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
Raheem Morris, I think, was there. Who else? There's a load of others. LaFleur was there. But his staff is absolutely stellar.
Yeah, but that's what killed him because they'd all.
Yeah,
he doesn't
I
have
do
the
wonder-
refreshing
Yeah,
of
I do wonder
McVay.
if he's going to start building that same sort of staff in Washington. Anyway, Jim Harbaugh at the Chargers.
You're getting exactly what you thought you were going to get.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty while he rebuilds it. It's going to be a lot of running, but
He's going to get results.
it's going to get results.
Yeah, love it.
They are a better team than last season.
It was a big miss having him out of the NFL. I'm pleased
Yeah.
he's back.
Yeah.
I agree. He is nuts, though.
He's weird as
Oh, he's
shit. I
mad.
love it. I
Like-
love it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
I loved it when he went to meet the Pope and shit like that. When he started. Like, just-
And he's now going to
just
be
went
playing
to
him at tailback.
He's
called the
randomly
White
did,
Smoke.
didn't he?
Yeah. No, it's great. Look,
Good old
I-
Scouts.
if Matt Eberflus punched me in the street, I wouldn't know who he like. Who cares?
Have we got the Harbaugh Derby this year or not? Is it in the schedule?
I think there might be one.
That I don't
That's
know.
a thing of
John's going to
greatness
look it up
when
and
that
get back
comes.
to us.
Yeah. All right. Raheem Morris at the Falcons.
Again, I mean, so far, you're getting everything you could possibly want out of this appointment. They're going to need to stick it out with him because it's going to be a minimum 3 years.
I think they've been very clever by giving him a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
26th of November is the Harbaugh
Harbaugh
Derby.
Bowl.
Something to look forward to.
Nice. But yeah, I think giving him Kirk and strengthening him with loads of pieces this year, I think it's been really clever from the organisation.
I think that team was always good. He was a quarterback away from being really good.
Yeah.
And to your
A head
point
coach.
earlier, a head coach who
Knows what they're doing.
knows what they're doing and plays to strength. I don't understand why Arthur Smith didn't use Bijan Robinson a lot more than what he actually did.
Because he's a fucking idiot.
There you go. All right. So they're the head coaches who've got previous head coach experience. It's now moving on to the
Shows you that experience does count for a lot.
the proper rookie head coaches. And to your point there, I think there is a difference here. So we're going to start off with Callahan at the Titans.
It could not be going worse if it tried.
He's hamstrung by his poor GM
Poor quarterback.
and poor court. But that's his job. That's why he's been brought in, was because
Of Levis.
he's one of those quarterback whisperers.
But if
I
that's
knew you
why
were
he's,
gonna say
if
that.
that's why he's been brought in, he's already
failed.
failed.
The thing is, it's so hard to judge him after 8 weeks, of which Levis has played 6. Levis is
Shit.
he's rubbish, but compared to some of the other rookie quarterbacks
I don't know where
who have
you're
been
going with
drafted,
this,
he's doing all he makes stupid plays.
Quickly, Levis or Anthony Richardson? Which one do you want?
Oh, Levis.
See, I disagree. I'll take Anthony Richardson. He's got more potential than Levis for me.
I don't want Levis anywhere near any organisation at all. Not even my.
I don't want Anthony Richardson anywhere near the quarterback.
Paul, you have the deciding vote.
Levis.
Oh, okay. I think Callahan has failed. I think he is the closest we've got to a one and done on this list.
Oh no, I think
Yeah.
Pierce.
I was going to say, well, Antonio Pierce, is next on my list.
I think he's also gone.
I
It's
think
just
he's done.
he had some of last year, so it's difficult to say he's one and done.
think
It's
it's
like 1.5 and done.
Such a stupid appointment because they didn't hire Rich Bisaccia
Yeah.
previously.
That's why they've done it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Well,
exactly.
Max
why they've
Crosby
done it.
was
Yeah.
there. Oh, if you don't hire my
Yeah, and
guy,
I
I'm
think-
going
I
to
think-
leave.
And I think the Jets are a good example of why you don't let players run
Yeah.
the organisation.
Absolutely.
Jared Mayo. That's
It's a pretty bad place to start.
Oh, it is,
But
you
the
can't
roster
blame
is
him.
horrendous.
I think now he's survived his they're all fucking soft. I think
Yeah.
he might stay. I've got a feeling.
I also think
I
that,
don't think that it's a reactionary type place, is it, Gillette? And I think he might he might get 2 years.
he was hand appointed by Robert Kraft. He's going to have to fuck up
That does
epically.
count.
Can you really like replace Bill Belichick, and then just bin someone off after
What
a
was
year?
the worst decision that Man United made in the last 15 years?
Moyes.
Getting rid of Moyes too soon.
Oh, if we meant a point in David.
No.
Moyes.
Getting rid of David Moyes too soon. If
West
you're
Ham
going to
made
be
the
the
same
man
mistake.
to replace the man, it's going to be hard.
You've got to let the process go.
You're not going to get immediate results.
No, and that's it. It's
Is
a
the
3-year
best
project for the Patriots.
The best thing as well for Mayo is you compare, like, I know it's football, but Moyes, whenever Man United lost, the camera would pan up to Ferguson.
Yeah.
And of course, Belichick he's doing the Manning cast. He's doing he's basically not really talking much. He's talking about everyone.
He's not around.
He's not there. Like his shadow isn't hanging around the Gillette Stadium because, for one, I don't think he's fucking welcome. Yeah, they had the documentary cut, gone ties, and I know Mayo's a Belichick guy, but
Mayo has tried to distance himself
Yeah.
from it, though.
I'm surprised because I heard it's hard to rub up Robert Kraft the wrong way.
On that note,
hell.
Dave Canales in Carolina.
Don't know.
I thought it was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
The dog has an opinion on Dave Canales in Carolina.
I'll try harder. I'm sorry.
Dave Canales is another one of these. This could end very messily, mainly because David Tepper has zero patience,
That's a big problem.
and the Panthers are going to win at most 2 games this season.
yeah.
The biggest issue with firing Dave Canales is that what coach is going to want to go there?
Yeah.
without
Well, Canales
big
has got a 6-year
fucking
contract,
deal?
hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So that might persuade David Tepper not to get rid of him.
not
They've already traded away.
So they traded Deontay Johnson, yeah.
So that leaves them Xavier Leggett, who is great.
Right.
The ghost of Adam Thielen, and apparently they're shopping Clowney,
They should shop Clowney.
who
He's not really an impact player anymore.
no. Well, no, it's the fact that he can go and make some plays somewhere where it counts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And finally, Mr. McDonald at the Sea Shits.
Do you know what? He's
Doing
doing
fine.
fine. Like, okay.
Best
I'd be happy
best
with
of
what
the
he's doing.
rookies.
And again, similar, replacing Pete Carroll.
Yeah, like...
So you can't just say, oh yeah, Pete Carroll was here 20,000 years.
Yeah.
And
The
you've
most
been in
important-
a year and you've not had time to fix anything, but
only
you've lost 2 more games than Pete did. So off you go.
The most
Yeah.
important thing for the Seahawks and the Patriots is to be patient.
yeah.
Yeah.
They have to be patient. The other teams there, maybe less so. I would say I would probably add the Falcons into that list. You've got to be patient.
8 head coaches there.
The only thing I don't like at the Seahawks is this week. The game just went away from them, but like the defense were on the sidelines fighting with each other. It looked
It's bad luck, isn't it?
it's a bad look. Like I know no one likes losing badly, but just
Everyone has a bad week, don't they? The Patriots
But yeah.
were fighting with each other 2 weeks ago. So
yeah.
8 head coaches there. I reckon 2 definitely gone. Callahan and Pierce, based on what they chat, and maybe Canales.
yeah.
Canales might go because of the
Idiot in charge.
idiot in charge. But yeah, the guy in charge of the asylum can't be trusted.
True.
Okay. It's time to delve into the often controversial subject of our biggest balls and sweetest plays of last week. And there were a few.
Yeah.
So feel free to start nominating.
What are we starting with?
Biggest balls first.
Anthony Richardson.
What, for tapping out?
It takes balls to do that.
That, I mean...
Surely in the moment, anyone would... I mean, we all listen going, whoa, in the moment, it must take big balls to go, you know what, I'm really tired, I need to sit out.
I don't think so. No.
No?
That's not big balls. It's like teeny, tiny, weeny little balls.
It's the chode of the week. It would be the chode of the week.
It's like someone castrated him.
Chode of the week is
Chode
Waldron.
of the week. Can we change the award this week to Chode of the week?
Shane Waldron at the
We
Bears.
switched biggest
for-
balls out for Chode of the week.
Yeah, I'll go with Chode of the week.
Please stop
Well, to
using
be
the
fair,
word
if you
chode.
spend so much time on the balls, you do need to spend some time on the chode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're not.
We're
seeing,
not.
like, big
We've
vague
ignored the
calls
chode
on
for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Let's give some attention to the chode, and
biggest balls of the week is being a struggle. We're not saying any massive calls.
Okay.
it's sort of expected now that
Yeah.
people go for it and make
So-
stupid. But the fact
Gonna
that
pick a Lions player.
Going
the Bears,
forward,
the Bears. So Waldron, as the offensive coordinator, who decided to try and run it in with a backup offensive lineman
Oh yeah.
when they have DeAndre Swift and basically about 14 better choices than that.
Surely-
Is the chode of my week.
Chode of the week is the cornerback for the
Yeah.
Bears.
Yeah.
Surely, who's taunting the crowd and not
Yeah, I
paying
mean,
attention to Noah Brown.
Absolutely.
If you're going for chodes of the week, which apparently we now are for the foreseeable
That
future,
could
it's
be the
Stevenson.
sweetest player of the week, couldn't it?
I mean, but from Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, but you can't put a sweetest play next to a
I
Chode.
don't think that should be the sweetest. It's lucky. I mean,
If you want it to be anything other than a chode, it needs to be near the sweetest play.
I think you can sell us getting late.
You can. Okay, so are we agree that Stevenson is chode of the week?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, John likes sweet chode. is what we're going with this.
Sweet chode. What are we having then as the sweetest player? If we're not allowing Jalen
I
Daniels?
like the interception with the batted.
that was a good
Arse
interception.
across,
Did you
yeah.
see Lenore's interception against Dak?
No.
If that was a catch, that would be catch of the week. It was
really?
amazing. Yeah, proper one-handed. The ball was outside the lines of play, and he dragged it back in, got his feet down, and his interception.
I mean, I'll gladly take it if that's what you feel is the best play. I don't have anything myself.
Seen it to appreciate
No, I haven't seen it. But like I say, I was going to go with Jalen Daniels, but if that's been voted down, I'll take whatever else is
The
coming.
batted across interception, the two-player interception
That
was
that
very
was good
nice.
as well.
Was very nice. Rare.
I'd go with the Hail Mary from Daniels. It was just for the timing of it within like the flow of. I watch Red Zone. With the flow of Red Zone, that's the last thing you see.
The only thing with it is it did fall short.
Clearly, these things are always a little bit lucky. Oh, I have now seen the play. That is a great catch. John, anything you want to bring to this particular discussion?
I mean, Gary, it's the batted down interception. I thought it was great.
Okay.
Cooper DeJean.
So Cooper DeJean, was it?
Cooper DeJean batting it. I think it's a Bradbury.
One of only 6 white cornerbacks to start in the league since 2002.
Exactly.
Okay, well, somebody's going to have to pick because we have
John-
various nominees. Johnny, I'm happy to go with that.
I was going with the interception because I think we had a Hail Mary the other week.
The batted down interception in
I'm
it.
sick of Hail Marys.
Okay, then it's time for our other, always very calm, no one falls out with each other, Hall of Good.
We don't take it personally. That's the important.
That is the main thing, you dickhead. So, Paul,
Hi there.
you are judging last week's Hall of Good nominations, wide receivers edition.
So should we go through each mention who we nominated? Just
Go for gold.
So I mentioned Deshaun Jackson.
I went for Des Bryant.
I went for Giants Super Bowl winning hero, Plaxico Berris.
And I went for the right decision, which was Antonio Brown.
Paul, slap nuts. What you?
Slap nuts.
Who's going into the hall?
I still can't go over slap nuts.
Don't think you're meant to.
No, it takes a while. It really pains me to do this because, firstly, if we're talking, we made a big point that the Hall of Good doesn't have to be the Hall of Twat.
That is true. That is
And
true.
yet,
And then you give me Plaxico and Deshaun, who like
And Antonio Brown.
And the problem is, like, if you look at it in terms of the best player who's the player who meant the most to you, who's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, it has to be Antonio Brown, because he was league leading for a number of years. He was great. He prolonged Ben Roethlisberger's career by about 3 years in the time he was there. Comes back and wins the Super Bowl. And then, fights moving.
The best sign off to a career ever by just walking off in the middle of a
Yeah,
game.
just walking off shirtless, and then fighting moving company people, having CT ESPN at the weekends with Le'Veon Bell. Just The guy's an absolute nutcase. So, I mean, just in terms of, I'm putting this in purely on his football career, it has to be Antonio Brown. Because that is Hall of Fame output.
I'm one
Without-
for one.
Feels nice,
I'm
doesn't it?
one
It
for
feels
one.
nice.
It does feel good.
Has everyone had one and go in now?
Nope.
No. You're struggling to get one in, are you, John?
Oh no, I've had two go in.
that'd be the
haven't I?
chode
That's
issue.
right, I've had two go in.
Did you go for Kiko Alonso?
I did not. So
Shame.
this week, then, we are nominating
Cornerbacks.
Yeah, we're nominating cornerbacks. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go on, then.
So, who's going to be the decider?
It's me.
It's Gary.
Gary. But he's going to he's going to decide on the
Decide
night.
right now, yeah.
Decide
deciding
right
on that.
now.
Give me a pen, please, Jim, just so I can remember all these names.
It's a shit pen.
It'll
Sorry.
do.
It probably won't.
Paul.
So, you want cornerbacks to do a few things for you, right? You want them to win the Super Bowl. Fair? You want them to be on a Super Bowl winning team.
That would be a nice thing.
This guy's done it twice. That's a good start. You want them to be an All-Pro. He's done it twice. You want him to be in the Pro Bowl. He's done it 4 times. You want him to lead the league in interceptions. He's done it twice. You want him, unfortunately, to have played for the Patriots. You want him to have super sperm that creates NFL players. He's done it. I am putting forward Asante Samuel.
It's a good pick.
It is.
He's a decent player.
So, for me, just in terms of impact, that is a guy, like I say, there's no conversations about Hall of Fame, but there is conversations around him having fantastic stats and impact in the league. So I'm going with Asante Samuel.
Thank you very much, Paul.
James.
It's a really good argument. There's one thing Asante Samuel hasn't done, though. He's not got a play named after him.
Ooh, like it.
Oh, I know who this is going to be.
So
Tell me it's my favourite punch.
Mark Sanchez.
No.
So this player,
Is it with Glasgow?
a second round.
Kiss.
Shut up. A second round pick in the 2003 draft.
Yeah, I know who this is.
Played for Louisiana Lafayette in the college, also known as the Raging Cajuns.
Nice.
I like that.
I like that. It's a nice. I like that extra bit of
I
information.
know, thank you.
Jim.
He's reached the Super Bowl twice. Fortunately, he didn't win it. That's not all on him. You'll understand why. He is a former Walter Payton Man of the Year. So good off the field as
I
well.
like that. I like that.
In 2012, he led the NFL in forced fumbles because he is Charles Tillman, Peanut Tillman, the peanut punch.
It's a good one.
Absolutely famous for being able to dislodge the ball from opposing wide receivers and running backs. But he was a great cornerback as well, let's not forget. 44 forced fumbles, 38 interceptions, and 9 defensive touchdowns in his time. He retired in 2000 and... Nope, I haven't got that in front of me. But he joined the FBI on retirement, and he's been in the FBI since 2018. So not only a brilliant, stellar man on the field, a brilliant, stellar man
I
off the
do
field.
like
Fucking
this extra
narc.
information that Jim has brought to the table.
Extraneous information
I
is
do-
what
I
you're
do-
after, is it, Gary?
The Raging Cajun is just like that's made my night. If I'm honest with you, I might have to use that.
But if I could just give you one counter argument, what's his sperm doing? Asante Samuels.
Mexicans.
That silence is bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
John, do you want to?
Do you want to go next?
Sure.
I know you've got a load of choices.
No, I didn't really. I was just
Oh,
winding Jim up. I was just hoping to dive in, but no. I only actually had 2, and I'd hoped to be allowed to have this one. Now, I've heard the first 2 nominations, and I won't hold against either of those going in because they're great nominations. But you know me, I have a sort of player that I love.
A dickhead.
A dickhead. Always a dickhead. And
There
this
are a
guy,
lot of
this
dickheads.
guy had a nickname, but if he didn't have this nickname, you could have called him Dickhead. It's Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Oh.
Adam Pac-Man Jones, one of the most suspended players in league history. He also comes with a string of extraneous information because he was convicted for threatening a gambling official and being involved in the shooting of a man outside a Las Vegas nightclub that ended in some paralysis. He's been arrested more than 40 times for drug and drink-related offences. So Adam Pac-Man Jones has a history, but Never forget this. He had over 500 NFL tackles, 17 interceptions, 92 passes deflected at cornerback, and returned 8 touchdowns from kickoffs and punts. Adam Pac-Man Jones was a really good player for many, many years across several different teams, Titans and Bengals most notably. Retired after 2018, where I think he played for the Broncos for a year, but didn't really play because, legal activities. Adam Pac-Man Jones sticks in the memory because of what could have been had he not been a massive dickhead.
We are turning this into the Hall of Dickhead. If you ever got these people into a room, God knows what coloured jacket you'd have to give them. It'd just be like one of the ones with all those writing on. With like
Orange.
Orange.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
So if you like your extraneous information around players,
You've had your say. You've had your say.
I'm backing you up, motherfucker.
Go on then.
Your one
Yeah.
was a wrestling tag team world champion.
He was. He fought for TNA because he was
Nice.
suspended from the Titans.
Yep. So he was the TNA tag team world champion for a month.
He's also produced music.
Of course he has.
John, follow
What
that.
music was that?
Oh,
Ballads.
rap.
This is a tough lineup this week.
So
John.
There's a couple of guys I
You
wanted-
got one in yet, John?
Come on, John.
No, I haven't.
Slip one in.
You haven't. Come on.
I haven't.
Paul, have you got
I
one
don't
in
think
yet?
I'm going to get in because this is a strong week.
Have I got one?
Got one in
Paul
yet?
hasn't.
No. So far it's Griff with one, Jim with one,
No.
with two.
So
I think one, yeah.
Doug Flutie, Bo Jackson.
I get two, did I?
You've got 2. You got the
You've got
first
two,
2.
I've got two.
Oh, okay.
Then it was Gary with 2.
Griff with one.
Then who's Tel Suggs? That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you got 3.
Oh,
3, 2,
Slipping them
1.
in left, right, and
We've
centre.
done 6, John.
We've done, yeah. So Doug Flutie, Bo Jackson,
Typical
Julius
Irish.
Thomas,
Yeah.
Richie Incognito. You got 2. He's got 3.
Disgusting that Incognito went in.
It's one of my greatest achievements. John, give us your pick for cornerback.
So what I want to be entertained for a great time, not a long time. And this guy was the best cornerback in the league for 1 year. In that
year?
2015.
Oh,
Oh, we know who it is.
Recent.
We know who it is.
Yeah. In that year, not only was he the standout cornerback on a Super Bowl performing team, yeah. He also was the best at trash talking anyone in the league that year. So in that year, he rounded up Odell Beckham so much, Odell Beckham tried to kill him effectively on a field.
I think I remember that fight.
Yeah. He basically ran at him with his head after he called basically they sparred. He told Des Bryant, "You're gonna need a body bag." And what's the best thing about Kirk Cousins?
You like that. You like that.
Of course, Norman. He would call out his own quarterback, Josh Norman. After Kirk's contract negotiations and inconsistency in his performance, Norman reportedly taunted him by saying, "How'd you like that? How'd you like that? You like that?" He also had a feud with Michael Thomas on social media because he's a dickhead. But for that 1 year, he was unplayable. Basically, Richard Sherman is probably the best cornerback of the last few years, but during that Super Bowl appearance with the things, but I think he'll make the Hall. But Norman is as close to to Richard Sherman as we will come. He was brilliant for effectively. If he could have been brilliant for more than 2 or 3 years, he'd stand a chance. But he dropped off. But when he was great, he was better than anyone.
Is that the year that he was really great in Carolina?
Yeah. So
when he played opposite Charles Tillman.
yeah. But no, he was the standout quarterback. But yes.
And then without Charles Tillman, he was nothing.
Shut the fuck up.
How many police officers has he
I mean,
assaulted?
admittedly, he did play opposite Charles Tillman, but he had to do all the work because Charles Tillman was injured most of that year on injured reserve. So, my guy turned up when it mattered.
At night he'd go home and look at his Asante Samuel poster.
But yeah, Josh Norman for that 1 year where he was the best player in the league.
Okay.
And also, just he still haunts Odell Beckham's nightmares.
Okay.
That's a tough.
It's a tough list. Yeah. I was kind of expecting Josh Norman might be on it from someone, and I understand why, but it's not the Hall as good as I think I am. It's not that Hall. It's the Hall of good, not as good as I think I am. So, unfortunately, John, it is not going to be Josh Norman.
Another week of not slipping one in, John.
I am liking this kind of I'm a celebrity approach to John. It's not you.
I think anyone who thinks I'm going to put a Patriots player into the Hall of anything is mistaken. So that's not knowing your audience, Paul. So great pick. Unlikely to get there with myself, I think. So it comes down to players with nicknames, great nicknames.
This is how Aaron Rodgers wins MVPs. Decision making like this.
And this is the way it works. So
he's just back from the Ballon d'Or.
I think one of these players,
the Brazilian tragedy that was the Ballon d'Or,
has made a lasting impact on the league, and I don't really like to give him more success. But for me, it has got to be Charles Tillman because it is everywhere at the moment. It has changed the way that defences are
Peanut
coached.
punch is amazing.
So it was really tough because you have, the Josh Norman one, as much as I discarded it quite quickly, was still well.
That was
put
my
together,
second
John.
choice. It was on my
and
list.
I do understand why it was there.
Yeah.
And I was one I expected. The other two are, I say they're just all great players, aren't they? So really strong list, tough decision. But yeah, Paul, picking a Patriots player for me, got no chance.
Do you know why I deliberately omitted the one good thing that Pac-Man Jones ever did with his life? Does anyone remember the one redeeming thing he did back in 2014?
Started the rap group The Poster Boys?
No. In 2014, his NFL colleague, Chris Henry, died. And Pac-Man Jones adopted his children so that they could be properly looked after. And it gets ridden over because, it's funnier to talk about him punching gambling officials in the face. But he has actually raised these kids because he was so devastated by the loss of their dad.
Doesn't change my decision.
No, it shouldn't. That's why I didn't read it out earlier. But I'm just saying, he wasn't all bad. He was a dickhead.
No,
Well done, Jim. You are 4. So you have 4 so far. So you're winning by a country mile.
It's pretty impressive seeing as I do all my research as I arrive.
But Jim also hasn't had a week where he's had to be the judge as well. So
you picking next week?
You won't get one in. So Jim's going to pick next week.
So what are we nominating?
I think we decided it was going to be defensive ends or edge rushers.
Defensive ends.
Edge rushers.
Jim's the one who...
It's going to be controversial as fuck.
He is the man who likes to tell us whether somebody is a defensive end or an edge rusher.
You can have a defensive end or an outside linebacker as an edge rusher.
Oh, Jim, you're making this really complicated.
They're the two positions.
If you like dickheads, this position has
It's amazing.
the highest percentage of dickheads.
There's going to be some players.
There's some great. I can name 2 off the top of my head. Right. We need to get this wrapped up. So quickly, fixtures for week 9. Anything you think stands out that needs to be mentioned? There must be some.
There is a proper toilet bowl.
Is it?
New Orleans at Carolina.
Oh, that is a Cajun toilet bowl, and no one wants to go and view a Cajun toilet bowl.
Steaming diarrhea.
Oh, that's going to be nasty.
Obviously, you got the inter divisional Detroit Green Bay.
Rams Seahawks.
Detroit Green Bay, yeah, that's a good one.
That could be the game of the week, actually. I was about to say game of the season. Actually, no, with Jordan Love out, it might not be that great. Dallas at Atlanta, just because if Dallas lose that, it is over for them.
And I would say the Dolphins are in extremely last chance saloon, playing against the Bills. If they win it, they cling on to playoff hope. If they lose it, it is
In Buffalo.
over. In Buffalo.
In the cold.
No fucking chance.
No chance.
John.
I'm going to go with Cardinals Bears.
Could be fun.
Be a fun game, that. Both 2 quarterbacks who are one's developing, one is just has his flaws, but also has his particular skills. I think it'd be really interesting.
Both Lincoln Riley projects.
Do you want to have a quick game around the table of do the Jets win this week? They're playing the Texans on Thursday night.
They
do
do
the Jets
not.
win this week?
No way, no.
No. It's a unanimous no.
Before we do, does anyone want to put something down for trades they'd like or what think they might see? Because it's the trade deadline before we record next.
I do want T. Higgins to go somewhere where he could win something. I.e. Texans.
Yeah, I don't. I think T. Higgins deserves a chance to play on a better team. Like I said, Mike Williams is mine. I think he'll be out of the Jets so fast to anyone who needs wide receiver help.
The Lions could still do with help at the edge.
Edge rusher, yeah.
If they could get one, because they are in win now.
That could be a good spot for Chase Young.
Yes.
What about your Giants? What should they be doing? Sell.
Yeah.
Who are you moving?
Petrol.
Well, we
No one wants anything from the Giants.
Yeah, no, we've got a decent defense. It's all about we need to make sure that the quarterback is not on our team next year.
We should mention that the Rams nixed any idea of Cooper Kupp being traded.
Yeah, I didn't really see it.
No, I didn't either. But it was the in vogue talk for a couple of
I wonder
days.
if they put it out there to see if they could get a second.
Maybe.
And most people went, "Of course, fucking not."
Well, he's going to be 32 this year.
And he's just come off 2 injuries.
Yeah.
Like, who's
Two
gonna
bad
give you-
injuries, yeah.
Who's going to give you a second for that?
What are the Texans with Diggs out for the season? That might change an approach.
I don't
Take
know.
another injury-prone player.
No, I don't see it. They might go for a younger player.
Go for
Christian
it.
Kirk was a player I thought might get traded, but he's now out for the season with a
Yeah,
broken
broken
collarbone.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Etienne might go.
Travis Etienne. Now, who did we say needs a running game earlier? Bengals. Travis Etienne's got to be an upgrade on what they've got, right?
Yeah, which is nothing.
Well,
Cowboys as well. If they want to, see football in just LA,
They
doesn't.
really make in-season trades.
No, they don't. But
The Cowboys
they
don't
they've
bring
got
in
Mario
players.
Cooper once, didn't they?
They don't bring in players this season. That's not how they operate.
But yeah,
Relevant
there's
players, isn't it?
Judge Jerry says so.
Bringing players from 2018.
They've already got them all.
so Todd Gurley.
Right, that brings us to the end of the show. We'll be back next week to see whether indeed the Jets did win.
They did.